What's up, everybody? How's it going? And welcome to Café Leblanc podcast number 12. I want to thank everybody that's showing up here today. I know some people were already waiting here, so I appreciate you guys waiting. I want to welcome all of the guests here today, which we have quite a few here, so sorry about all that. Rising, first of all, thanks for so last minute. I literally messaged him like 20 minutes ago and I was like, yo, you want to be in a podcast today? Or King cancel on me, so I was like... You want to go? So thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it. And then we have Ozzy, who's gonna be here for a bit of the podcast. He has to go. He has some other stuff going on. So thanks so much for coming over.
No problem.
And David, of course, he's my recurring guy over here as well. Thank you so much for coming over here, bro.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks. And we have Chris from the Chrillcast coming later. He's coming at 9, so he's coming in later on to talk about the game as well. So thank you so much, everybody. So let's go ahead and jump right into it with Persona 5 Strikers. Game comes out in 2 days, or it came out already if you were impatient and paid extra $10. So first of all, how do you guys feel about that overall? Like the idea of the game, this is a really EA kind of thing to me. Like as soon as I heard that, I was like, the first thing that I thought of was like the Call of Duty roadmap things that they do with like a million different release dates. And how do you guys feel about this?
Listen, I'm if the Steelbook was also 4 days early, but unfortunately it wasn't.
I will be forgiving for this one. I just hope they don't do it again because I think that's such a shady practice. Like to ask for just a bit more. They know that there's no incentive except the fact that you get to play it before. So I hate it. I really hate it, especially since I'm a physical collector. I don't care about the digital version. So it's not for me.
Yeah, it's just a really strange practice. Like one thing that comes to mind with me especially is like it's $10 extra, which is, like accounting for the DLC. But then you actually look at the DLC and it's like $5 of it was something that was already in Japan. The other $5 DLC, I don't even think is available to Japan, which is just a bunch of like consumable items.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like they threw that in just so they could do the digital deluxe.
Right, and the other thing is that there's some free DLC that is being charged off here, which is actually quite common. I shouldn't be mentioning that, but it is kind of like one of those things. I was like, I don't know. Personally, I just feel like this is a slap in the face. Like, first of all, we wait a whole year for this game to come out in the West. I mean, we are literally just talking about this, but the game became a year old like a day or two ago in Japan. So it just feels like such a strange thing for me to be like, oh, get excited for the game and pay extra if you want to play early kind of thing. I don't know. I don't like it, but I'll be forgiving this time around. I was impatient. I went ahead and bought it, but I really don't like the way it felt. It kind of...
You know what my problem is? It's like I can wait 5 or 6 more days or so for Strikers, but if they do that for SMT5, I'll have to double dip. And that's an issue. That's a big issue for me. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. I feel like if they did that for the next game, like you said, even if it's, I don't know, I probably wouldn't do it for... Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do it for Nocturne, because I played Nocturne before, so there's no incentive for me to like play it early or anything like that.
Yeah, I'd wait for Nocturne as well, but it's like, imagine a brand new game. Even I know that's not close to release or anything, but if they do something like that for Persona 6, I would be like, oh my god, dude, that. Like I wouldn't have the choice but to double dip, and this is when it's shady because I can imagine for some people they double dip because they wanted like the physical version, but they also wanted to play it as soon as possible. So that's where I have a problem with it. You don't give the choice to your players. You just tell them to buy 2 copies. So,
like you said, you were like, you can let it slide now, but I don't know if I can agree on that. I don't know if I can agree on that because of the bad precedent it sets with stuff like that. Yeah, stuff like this, where it's like, if they keep doing this, or they convince more studios to do something like this because they're like, hey, it worked. That's not good.
Yeah, it's just doesn't look good at all. I don't know. I feel like as a longtime fan, it feels so cheap too. And it's kind of like, I mean, come on, you could have done better than that. Especially like he said, like the next game is kind of like the one. Like, are you gonna do this again or not? I feel like that's kind of gonna be the real trial by fire for me.
Mm.
All right, Rising, you were saying something. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Oh no, I was saying like, yeah, no. Hopefully, this is something that they try to make a trend. It's kind of weird. It's just a cash grab, really. There's almost no point in them making the 4-day extra, like for $10. It's really just a cash grab, which is, I think, bad practice. And like you guys said, setting a trend like that, and I think by now Persona is definitely a big name. That's definitely a trendsetter. So that's something we don't want to see in the future for like other, Japanese developers.
Yeah, definitely. I really hope not, because I mean, like if you look at it, like I don't know, Japanese developers have set up some really bad trends lately. Like you look at Capcom and their weird DLC models with like
Oh boy.
I'm not even gonna get into
Capcom
the
is-
whole thing, but Capcom is really bad. And then Square
Yeah, they
Enix
are.
selling like DLC story for like all of their games.
Yeah,
I'm kind of like,
intentionally cutting out story for you to pay for later. It's so bad.
yeah, it's not a good thing. So like I don't know what's going on over there in Japan, but I'm hoping that Atlas doesn't suddenly start doing this on future games, because it's not gonna look good. But speaking of not looking good, I want to jump into one of the things that Demicro just kind of mentioned over here somewhere in the comments. Speaking of that PC port, because he was one of the ones that actually came in. So the game came out deluxe edition on the 18 at midnight. So I was playing it at midnight. It was like 2 in the morning, and Demicro just kind of showed up. He was like, "Dude, the game just plays awful on PC." And I know his laptop. He has a gaming laptop, so it's gonna run good.
It should be fine.
So apparently, just ran a complete ass. So, so have you guys heard anything about that? I obviously made a video about it today, but I want to hear everybody's thoughts first.
I didn't hear anything about that except when you tweeted about it. So, and I saw Demi Crow tweeted about it as well, but I didn't experience it myself since I didn't get it on PC. I don't even know if my PC could run it properly. So, but what's the issue exactly? Could you just like do some type of summary for me, just so I could get a good idea of? And I'm sure some people in the chat are not sure about what's the issue exactly. Is it like crashing? Is it
It's actually a bunch of
Bit of
different.
everything.
It's actually a lot of different stuff. It's different for everybody. Personally, you guys know about the PC edition. It just crashes on me. This is the same thing that I had on PS4. I'm sorry, not PS4. P4G, which is basically just like it'll run for a minute or two or like a while, and it just crashes. Like I had when I was playing Persona 4 Golden, I was like in the middle of the game. I'm not gonna talk about the dungeon itself, but it just kept crashing on me, like freezing and then crashing, freezing and then crashing.
wow?
And then
okay.
and then I was watching. Actually, Trash King and Queen are here. They were streaming Persona Strikers as well on PC, and I was literally watching their stream, and their frames just dropping from 60 to like lower digits, so like single digits probably.
Wow.
It was just like, yeah, and it was in the middle of like action, like they would just be jumping, not even like fighting or anything like that, and then suddenly just like completely dropping. And I was like, holy crap, what is happening? So like I saw it myself. It's not like somebody told me, like I literally saw it happening.
Like we all kind of wondered why it was capped at 60, and I wonder if it's like because they test past 60 and like, oh, this thing's way too bad, it's unstable, keep it at 60. I wonder if that's why they did it, because like even 60 is kind of not working. So I wonder if that's why they don't let the unlimited like frame rate go. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't know if that's what it is. I don't know if this. A lot of people have said that something about the novel DRM lock thing, but other games hadn't had it, and they still had some issues like that. I remember what was it, Nier Automata on PC. Man, that game ran so bad on PC. I was one of the suckers that bought it whenever it first came out, and I could only play like 30 minutes of it before I asked for a refund.
That sucks.
Yeah, because I never played it again. It just left such a sour mouth on, like as far as like how unenjoyable it was because of the frame rate. But I'm like, I'm actually gonna play the game. I know it's a good game, and I'm intending to play it, but it was just so bad for me. So I hope nobody just gives up on the game. I'm sure. I don't know. I don't want to sound like an apologist for Atlas, but I'm sure they're gonna patch it. They patched. What did they patch? Well, they patched
Golden.
Persona 4 Golden, and they also patched Nocturne.
Nocturne as well.
Yeah, so I'm sure they're gonna patch it, but honestly, I don't like being on the camp. I'm like, oh, hope they patch it kind of thing. They just shouldn't be released that way. That's kind of my whole thing about it. Like games shouldn't be releasing broken. Like that's the whole thing with Cyberpunk, right? And people talking about it. You know, like games shouldn't be doing that and still being released and sold at full price. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, it's false advertising. You know, you expect a working product.
Definitely. Now we touched on that on King's podcast, if I'm not mistaken. The fact that it took them a year to localize it, we thought maybe they extended the release date for the West to have the PC version released at the same time for us in the West. So that's might be one of the reasons why it was pushed, because we do know that it was like pushed behind the scene. So I wonder if they were like, oh boy, we have to release it now. It's been a year already. We really have to release it, even if the PC version's maybe not as great as we want to. I think that might be one of the things that happened.
Yeah, I hadn't even considered that until you mentioned it. Yeah, that sounds really plausible, actually. I wouldn't be surprised.
Random idea that I just have, but I think it makes kind of sense, because I mean the PC is like the version that should run the best. I remember mentioning on a video. Well, we already know what's going to happen with performance and with sales. It's going to be PC version the better version for performance, than PS4, than Switch, and for sales it's going to be PS4. Switch or PC. I wasn't sure about that. But the performance is like, wow, it's running stable on my Switch. I'm playing right now. It's stable. So, wow, the PC version being the worst version was unexpected.
And the crazy thing is, like, I know there are people that are playing the game normally and having zero issues. But then again, I've seen some people just having issues about it. But, yeah, like, it's just so interesting. But, yeah, I mean, I feel bad for people that bought it on PC. I feel bad for Demicro because he kept on coming to my streams kind of like, dude, I cannot even play the game. And I was just feeling so bad for them, because you know everybody's hyped. You know, you especially bought the deluxe edition to play it early and everything, so I definitely feel bad.
Demicro bought 5 copies of the game. So,
yeah,
like this dude is like the biggest supporter, and he bought like the first version that he got is like the
he got betrayed
version. Yeah.
Yeah. I just felt so bad. I was like, oh man. And I was like, get it on PS4. I think his PS4 was like broken or something like that. So I think he now has to play it on Switch. So I guess going from the PC version to the Switch version is kind of like, I don't know. But you were telling me, David, that you have been playing. You played the Switch version. So how do you feel about the game so far?
Yeah. Well, let me check. I'm 4 hours and a half in right now, so I just got lucky. For those of you who don't know, what happened is like I pre-ordered the PS4 and the Switch version physically at my local game store, which I was supposed to pick up the game on Tuesday morning, like everyone else, because I bought the regular physical versions. And I gave the Steam version to my giveaway winner. But what happened is I went to Walmart today looking for a copy of Hyrule Warriors, which is completely unrelated. But I saw Strikers on the shelf, and I was like, bruh. I'm okay. The clerk's probably gonna tell me, bro, it's there, but you can't buy it. But nope. Asked him, opened the glass case, gave me the game, paid for it, and I've been playing it since then. Now for the Switch version, it's running great. I'm not having any issues. I think the cutscenes and the character portraits are very beautiful. Actually, that kind of surprised me. Now, when you're playing, yes, you can see the difference with the PS4 version. That's for sure. But in combat, I'm playing handheld mode right now, and I played like the other 4 hours. I played docked, and it's great. There's no frame drops, no issues, no crashes, no slowdowns. Everything. It's running great. It's the stable 30 frames, and I think the game at 30 is enjoyable, really enjoyable, actually.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it. No regrets.
Glad to hear that. I personally wouldn't be able to play this game on at 30, especially now that I played like 20 hours of the game already on in PS4. Originally, I played it on PS4 as well, but I was like, well, now I'm playing it on PS5, so you know it's like slightly better, I guess. Loading times is like the one thing that you surprised me. Like going like I know a lot of people talked about loading times and everything. But holy crap, going
Oh yeah, the
from
loading times are long.
going
That's for
time.
sure.
No, I
Really?
mean on the PS5, there's like no loading times whatsoever. Oh, the micro, thank you so much for joining. He just joined
Wait, how bad are
Woo!
the load times?
on PS5. There's none. It'd be like less than a second. Like it's absolutely incredible
I kind of
how
figured.
like it's just like
No,
it's literally just a transition. You know the transitions that happens from one scene to another scene.
Yeah.
Just literally all you do. Like it doesn't actually feel like a loading time. On Switch is bad, right? It's like I was like a 30 seconds, something like that.
Uh, the load times are very long. Like I pull out Twitter whenever there's a loading screen. Like it's that bad.
Oh, really?
But yeah,
Wow.
but for me again, it's I we talked about that in the Twitter group before. I just like portability so much. I can live with if my frame rate's stable and if I just have to sit through longer loading times, I can manage to be able to play portably. For me, it's worth it. I'm going
At
to try
least
it on
it works.
PS5 as well, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's a shame that this game is not on Xbox. Which is, I wonder if there is some kind of contract with Persona and us on that. Because I mean, obviously Xbox. I mean, like the Persona 5, the Arena games were on Xbox. So I'm surprised that this one
Yeah, but
isn't on
they
Xbox.
flopped hard though.
Yeah,
Like the
they
sales number are terrible for Arena on Xbox. Like
yeah,
they're
but
really bad.
yeah, but if I
Maybe they
mean,
need a mainline game for it. You know what I mean? Because I think
Yeah.
it's like the audience, right? So maybe like a mainline game could build some audience on Xbox, so like spin-offs could work. That's like an idea.
yeah, I don't know. I
But then
wonder.
again, it's gonna work sales wise on Switch. Like it's not gonna outsell the PS4 version, definitely not. But it's gonna work. They're gonna have great numbers for what it is. While on Xbox, I don't think they would have had great numbers. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm very curious if Yakuza 7 sold well on Xbox. Have you heard
I'm
anything
sure
about
it
it?
did. I'm
No
sure it did.
clue.
It's they had the exclusivity for the next gen version. So for the people who had like both systems, they probably bought the next gen version, which is kind of logical, which is what I did. And all the Yakuza games are on Xbox now, so I'm sure they had some new fans, and they're on Xbox, but they're also on Game Pass. So there's been some new fans from Microsoft. I've seen some hype surrounding Yakuza games coming to Xbox lately. So I don't think we have official numbers. At least I didn't see them, but I'm pretty sure it did. I'm confident he did pretty well.
I'd be curious to hear about that. I'm actually pretty curious because I know Yakuza just came to Xbox, right? It wasn't a thing until much recently. Yeah, okay. I'm interested to see how they perform over there and everything. So Ozzy, you played a demo of Persona 5 Strikers. How do you feel about the gameplay? How do you feel about the game so far?
Uh, the experience in the demo I already know is like an extremely toned down version of what you can actually do in like the main game, because like it's not even accounting for drop my mic. Yeah, not even accounting for like all the different like persona switching you can do, all your different party members, the way you actually traverse the map, even just with the baseline stuff you do in the demo, which from what I can tell is like the most boring part of the game in terms of variety, still blew me away with the actual like fluidity of the gameplay and how the mechanics work, which has me extremely pumped to actually get to the game itself. But yeah, the actual quality of the gameplay is fantastic. The visuals are really nice to me.
Yeah.
Soundtrack blew me away the second I heard it. It's a good old time all around. I'm really excited.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really surprised me. Did you play the PlayStation version or the Switch version on the demo?
Both.
Both. You know, the first time that I played the demo, I don't know if I mentioned this before to you guys. I know I mentioned this to David, but when they announced this game, I was so disappointed. I would hated the idea of a Persona Warriors games. I never been a fan of the Warriors games. Like a lot of people are like super fans of the Musu games and everything, but not me. So whenever they announced it, I was like super disappointed. I was like, no, this is terrible. This is a terrible idea. I was like super disappointed about it, and then the demo released, and I was like super skeptical. I was like, okay, I'm gonna play the demo, and it's gonna be crap. And you know what's really funny is I played the demo and I felt so in love with the gameplay. The like you said, the visuals, just the game overall, it just felt so well. And I was like, man, this is such a good idea. I feel so dumb because like when I first, and I don't know if you guys know the story behind this, but there was a lot of rumors behind this game for a while before it even released. There was there was not interview, a fan vote that they did in Japan for other Musu games that people wanted. Fun fact, Zelda was in there as well, and people, I think Persona was like in like the top 5. So Omega Force went and like approached Atlas about the idea of it, and they literally like wrote a story and everything for kind of like to pitch him the idea, and they went for it. So it's pretty crazy to me that they just kind of just went for it. A lot of people think that it was the other way around, that Atlas kind of went looking for new ways to do an arena. David probably gonna chuckle about because of his video, but I don't, I don't know if you guys seen David's video, but he did a pretty good video on why arena isn't coming, and I agree with him. So they had to have some other way to make a good spin-off. So I guess this one is really good. Like I will be open to a sequel to this game, and the game definitely lends itself, no spoilers or anything, but it definitely lends itself for more sequels or more things ahead of it. So I am very excited. I'm super happy for the game. Like the story isn't like, I wouldn't say like groundbreaking or anything like that. I'm not gonna pretend like it's like the best masterpiece ever written or anything like that. But what they did, it was really good. I really liked that. Sorry, David, go ahead.
We were talking about the performance for the Switch version. I'm out of a map. I'm completely glitched out right now. I can't come back on map. I'm serious. I'm floating in the air outside of a map.
No,
I did a button pass, but like way too close to a wall, and it brought me outside of the map. I'm gonna tweet a video, but I think I'm gonna have to reset. I can't jump back in the map.
I don't have to say it, but I think you got a cursed copy. I don't know, man. The reason you got it early, dude.
That's what you get for playing it early, David.
I'm serious. Sorry, it's unrelated, but I'm serious. I can't head back in.
One thing that is really funny is sometimes the characters do clip into things. Like I was fighting a boss battle earlier today, and it was like one of those minor boss battles, and the enemy punch me or push me outside of the boundaries. So there is like this boundary where you cannot leave. There's like this red light that pops up and you cannot leave that boundary. Anyway, so somehow the enemy pushed me outside of the boundary and I couldn't go back inside again. So I had to switch characters, and when I did, it kind of clipped me in between both the boundary and so I kind of just clipped myself multiple times until being able to kind of get out of there. I was like, I'm not starting this boss battle again. So
I'm not spoiling anything, but I'm in the first palace, and like I think I'm gonna have to restart the whole thing.
Oh man, is it that bad?
I can't get in. Like I'm gonna film it so you guys can see it, but man, sorry for the interruption. But
no, it's fine. This is literally what we needed right now. So meanwhile, we got some other Persona ideas here. We have Persona 5 Tactics. Actually, I will be okay with that. Never thought of that, but I like that. And then Persona 5 Rising, which is my personal favorite. Persona 5 Tycoon. I love it. I love Persona 5 Tycoon. They definitely need that. I love that game. I spent hours playing that game.
I do want to note two things. One, Demicro just said P5 Fortune Street, and I would die if that would happen. The second thing, it's not that we have P5 Tactics, but if that did happen, it would probably just be akin to Devil Survivor, which I have no problem with. Devil Survivor is great.
Devil Survivor is fantastic. Although there is a rumor about a third game. The director is working on that game. But what would you guys rather have? Devil Survivor 3 or Tokyo Mirage Sessions 2?
Devil Survivor.
Yes, please.
David, Devil Survivor or Tokyo Mirage Sessions?
I actually like Tokyo Mirage Sessions too, but I mean, come on, Devil Survivor 3. It's like the choice is there's no choice here.
There's
it's
no
way too
choice.
easy.
There's only the true real answer and then some other weird answer. Now, I'll be curious to see what Spencer has to say about that. He's always talking about Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I'm a fan, but I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the story, but I really like the gameplay. I actually thought Persona 5 Royal or Persona 5 was going to have gameplay more similar to Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which I kind of was hoping for that because they do some pretty interesting stuff, actually. I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. The gameplay on Tokyo Mirage Sessions is pretty nice. I like the sessions things that they do. I think it's like a much better version than the Baton Pass.
Yeah.
Like you can do some crazy combos just passing it back and forth and everything. I just feel like it's nice. Like a much nicer version of it. Anyways, David, did you have that video yet?
It's uploading right now. You should see it in a few seconds. I tagged you guys so you guys can see it, but I'm still trying to get back on map, but I'm definitely not going back in anytime
Lost in
soon.
space.
I'm not floating anymore. I fell, but I'm still stuck. Like I can't get back in. But in the video, I'm not floating anymore. I was able to fall downstairs or whatever I am.
You landed somewhere.
You can
Landed
actually
somewhere.
see it's completely empty behind where I am. Like you should see it soon. Oh, it's not up yet. It's long. I recorded it quickly on my cell, so ghetto quality. But you guys will see it.
You can't just click the record button and then upload it from your Switch.
I didn't try that. Sorry. Is it possible to is it possible for me to like teleport somewhere on map? Like, is there some type of checkpoints? Or...
Yes, there are checkpoints.
It is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how can I?
Can you do it while you're falling? That's the question.
Yeah, that's the thing.
No, you
how can
have to access the checkpoint to be able to
Okay, never mind then.
Because I can load, but it's like, man, I'm losing the last time that I saved is at 2 hours and 40 minutes of playtime.
What?
So I'm losing 2 hours.
I'll be so mad.
Time so
It's a
perfectly.
fun 2 hours.
I'll be saying that is one thing for sure is the game has I don't know, the first dungeon has a ton of checkpoints, but the going forward from the third dungeon and up, they kind of up the difficulty on the dungeons, like the dungeon crawling aspect. I don't know. I don't want to call it a dungeon crawling. What would you call that?
Dungeon crawling.
No, it's not really dungeon crawling. It's like I don't know. There's like more stuff to do, I guess.
Sorry, I see the problem, David. I'm looking at your video.
Okay, you can see it now. It's like, bro, I can't get out. I'm completely stuck.
Makoto fans be like,
did you try to change between characters?
Yeah, I tried. Like the way that I got stuck is I was running towards the wall and I misclicked to change characters.
Oh yeah, there's
but now I can't get out. I'm trying to replicate what I did and it's not working.
Oh, that's kind of what I meant earlier, actually. The kind of what happened when the actually I will kind of want to share this with everybody. let me share it with everybody.
Go for it.
Shit. Let me see.
I'm really gonna have to restart that, man. Can I kill myself and like you start at some checkpoints or something?
I'm so sorry, man. I feel so bad about it, but it's also kind of funny.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you can probably see it right here. So let's press play here. So this is what he's experiencing. You guys, he's inside the building.
I can't.
He's inside the building.
I'm still trying. I'm still trying.
You're trying to talk so good about
shit.
the Switch version too, and then
I was being positive, bro.
You know what?
This is why you get the
Speaking of
PS4 version or PS5, whatever you're feeling.
All that PC Master Race stuff. You can still do it, but nope.
Oh man, that is terrible. That's pretty funny, actually. I'm sorry, David, but it's actually really funny.
It's all right.
You were blessed by the Atlas gods. No, you got blessed by the Atlas demons. I think.
Oh man, that's terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. Now you're gonna have to start over again.
Right. There's nothing that I can do. I think, right?
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely nothing. You're inside a building, man. You
I'm
don't go
just
inside of
kidding.
those. Yeah, you
at
don't
this
go
point,
inside of those.
You might as well start your striker speed run.
Sorry for the interruption, but you guys will see it once I.
That's all I know. There's no better time for that than now.
Well, that was crazy.
Sorry for the little interruption.
Oh, dude, you're fine. This just literally serves as like the great introduction to what's going
I'm
on in
gonna
the game and
restart.
everything.
Don't have a choice.
You said
I will say
still looks better than the PC version.
I will say on the note difference between the Switch and PS4 version, one thing I did notice when playing the demos is like Spencer from SMTM kind of put it best, where you play the Switch version, it runs at 30 FPS, and it feels very, I guess, comfortable is the best way to put it, because I believe regular P5 also runs at 30.
Mm-hmm.
And so it very much feels like Persona 5, which is nice. And then you play the PS4 version running at 60, and it unlocks like your fifth eye.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I feel like you don't know what you're missing out until you actually see it in 4K 60 FPS. It's like a complete, like, you don't know what you're missing out into until you see it. It's not as better. It just looks so much nicer, and it's just so much smoother, especially in this kind of games, because this kind of game can get really convoluted. Like, maybe not in the first dungeon, but the third dungeon, there are some parts where you have to fight like a ton of enemies. You guys seen the little trailer, right? Where there's like a bunch of what is this? The Motley's mascot, Jack Frost. There's a little clip that somebody uploaded where there's a bunch of Jack Frost running.
Oh, and they're all saying hee ho.
Yeah, you literally fight a bunch of Jack Frost at some points in the game. So like it's like there's a lot of things going on your screen at the same time. I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. But it's cool. It's like it's part of the magic of the game. Really, that was the most Warriors moment I can think of on the game. And it's that like they're so far few in between. But it's great. I love it. I love it so much. I love the gameplay for it. I'm so in love with what I'm playing right now. The first time that I played it, I honestly rushed through it because I was like, I don't get the story. I don't know what everybody's saying, so I'm just gonna play. I just want to fight bosses and everything. But I feel like I missed out so much now that I'm playing it a second time, and it just feels it's like so much like I can just unwind and enjoy the game and everything. And there is so much to enjoy. Like every time that I'm playing something, the story is super Persona. Like it just feels so much like Persona 5. I know like the joke, like I even made fun of them, but the whole feels like Persona 5 Striker feels like Persona, but it really does, like it makes you feel like Joker. You're a phantom thief now. But it really does have that, and what I love about this, it really is truly a sequel to the game. Like it feels so much of a sequel that it feels more of a sequel than any of the other games ever did. Like, and I'm talking about Arena and the dancing games and everything.
You're telling me Persona 4 Dancing doesn't feel like a true sequel to Persona 4 Golden?
Hey, it's a true sequel. They even, recently played it, and they even reference the Dark Hour in it. They literally talk about it, and I was like, "Oh my god, did this really happen?" It's been years since I played it, and I recently played it because I was literally waiting for Persona 5 Strikers, and I'm like, okay, well, last time it took me about 2 weeks to finish dancing. Oh, literally finished the game in 2 days. And then I tried to do the same thing with Catherine, and I finished it in 1 day. I was like, oh man, I literally did a stream for like 6 hours and I finished it. And I was like, well, that's not good. What am I going to do for a whole 2 weeks before the game comes out?
I gotcha. Also, I may have to head out right now, but it was nice for the brief time I was here. So,
yeah, dude, thanks for coming by. It's very nice to have you here.
Stay good, people. I'll see you.
All right, take care, man.
See you.
All right, well, we're still talking about Persona 5 Strikers. Tell me what's up, bro.
Yeah, I have a question for you, without spoilers, as always. Is there like what's the side content like? Because I didn't experience anything yet, so I was wondering if you could tell us a bit about that. I think that could be interesting for everyone to
Oh
hear.
yeah, that's definitely something worth to talk about. So I have a couple things that I can tell you guys without spoiling anything. I didn't skip all the dialogue. Somebody's telling me that I skip all the Persona 4 dancing dialogue. I skipped the unnecessary.
He's a 2022 boy, so you have to be careful with everything he says. Just make sure that everything's correct and everything.
No, there's a lot of unnecessary dialogue in that game. That game is just like it. Just Persona games like to repeat themselves. They like to repeat the same thing over and over again. The bad guy said what, and then the what guy said bad guy.
That's an issue that I'm having with Persona 5 in particular. Why do they always feel the need to explain everything 1,000 times? Like I'm not that stupid.
I feel like they feel that the viewer or the player is just dumb, and they just need to make sure that they understand what's going on. And dude, sometimes I see theories on YouTube or like on Reddit, and I'm like, yeah, it's probably a good idea to repeat it 1,000,000 times because these people obviously didn't get it. But not for real though. It's a real issue for me. Like I hate that they repeat it so many times. I'm like, why are they repeating it?
Not only that, like every character also has to put their 2 cents in too. Like I hate when 2 characters are talking. It's like, well, that dialogue scene's probably done. Then somebody comes off a screen. It's like, wait a minute. Now we're gonna have to explain all of what these 2 people just talked about to this new third person that jumped in. We're gonna get his word on it. Then the thing's gonna be over. So
and then we have to put our own input into it. As Joker, we have to also comment 1 or 2 words. Which
That's
is
tiring.
They give us an option. I'm like, is there a I don't care option? Like, no thanks.
The third option is typically gonna be the sarcastic meh option. But yeah, that's just me about it. Anyway, your question was regarding the side content. Two things, because I want to make this clear for everybody. There's a calendar, but it doesn't work like the calendar in Persona 5 or in Persona games. The calendar is there for show. It doesn't actually work.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Yeah, there's nothing there. So
it's just like the moon system in Apocalypse. It's there, but it's completely useless and unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. It's just there because it kind of makes you want to feel like part of the story, part of what's going on and everything. But there's nothing about it at all. So there's no social activities. There's no social links or any of that stuff. There's no romance whatsoever. There's one time when the game can let you choose one romantic aspect, but that's about it. It doesn't really bring it up again, or it's not relevant to the game. What it is you have Sophie makes you an app where you can visit the jails again, and she creates or receives requests from people from online.
Oh boy, okay.
It's like the fan site, kind of, so to speak. But what the funny thing that they do is, you can, when you see your friends hanging out, talk to them and they'll give you additional quests sometimes. And they that's how they did the social aspect to them. You have to go around and do their quest or whatever, and then you get like a cutscene, like an additional cutscene with them like doing something additionally. The first one is a freebie. You just talk to Ryuji and Anne, and you guys go to like eat ramen or whatever. But then after that, you get like an actual quest in the app, and you have to do the stuff and everything like that. So there's 2 kinds of quests. There's the funny quest, which is like the friends quest, and then actually going into the jails and fighting things and doing things. That's pretty much what
okay.
Do they feel rewarding though? Like the side quests, like they feel.
Doesn't sound like it is.
It's not really. I wouldn't say. Define rewarding. Rewarding as in like story wise, not really, but rewarding as in you get some XP. Then yes. If it's rewarding as in grinding, yes, you can. In fact, you can repeat side quests and you can fight bosses, which is the best thing. Like, if there was a boss that you struggle with, you kind of want to practice. You can take a quest and go back and fight them again. And so like if you want to kind of refine your fighting and everything, like I got to the point that I could exploit the second boss, and like I got him to half to the health without even being touched, and I'll just like I can't, it's really hard to explain without you playing it part. But the game has a lot of like um, areas where you can kind of hook onto and do extra damage and extra attacks and everything. And there's just a lot of things you can do. So I want to say it's rewarding, but you definitely need money and you definitely need XP. Although the money I feel like I'm sorry, not money. The game is really generous on the money. Like I found myself having like 9,000 yen, like in the set by the second dungeon. So it's really rewarding. There are times where you just get so much money out of it. So yeah, I mean it's cool. I wouldn't say that the quests are super innovative or fun, but they're there. They're there, and you enjoy
Okay.
them.
Because they don't have to be like really deep and specific in various different aspects for me to enjoy side quests. Like in Age of Calamity before, and Ozzy now left, but he would have been able to confirm the side quests. They are like they feel so different. The missions are like very different from one to another. They have specific goals and all, and they were really addictive. But there are like no stories implied, so it was just pure fun, and you don't really have to think. Like I found myself like playing Age of Calamity and just listening to a podcast on the side while playing, without giving too much attention to the game, just playing and rushing through enemies. It was just fun. So I think I'm probably gonna have fun with this one. We'll be able to
Yeah,
talk about that
the
later.
quests are fun. I wouldn't say they're like bad or anything like that. I think that they're just mindless quests that you do. What I found that kind of annoying though is there's some quests that you have to hunt a specific um, persona of a shadow or whatever. So you have to go into the jail, run around until you find it, and then kill it. Which is there are a ton of those kind of quests that I just kind of like, but
Okay.
but whatever, it's fine. Their excuse for it is the desires are still there, and you have to kind of like go back and help. But what it is there's a lot of quests. I think by the second dungeon I had like 12 or 11 quests just already, and I reached them up until like 20 quests that I had actively kind of doing and everything. And again, the game will allow you to do them multiple times, so that's nice. I like that.
That's good.
Okay.
Then.
Cool.
Do you think that's most of the gameplay though?
What's up? Most of the
Do you
gameplay.
think-
No,
Yeah.
the gameplay is just the story. It's just like the gameplay and the story just go. It's not like Persona 5 really, because okay, take out like the social aspect and just let like on Persona 5, like if you just play the story with the dungeon crawling, that's pretty much all you get.
That's
And
not bad.
but the dungeon crawling, like times don't pass, so you can actually leave the dungeon, but go to the vending machines, come back, leave the dungeons again, go to the vending machines, come back, and then you can repeat that. Like you don't actually have to do anything. You just do the dungeon. You run out of XP. You come out of the jail, and then you go back again, and then you do it until you beat the part of the story, and then it just kind of continues the days and so on.
That's good then. And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't mind the social links having to be a part of the game because we did just do a whole game, of that, like the main core games. So
Mhm.
I seen something on Twitter saying it was lazy that they didn't put the social links or romance in. But it's like
Nah.
you don't have to have that in every spin-off, and sometimes you just want the game to just not have to have those type of things. And not only that, you have to work on those social links every single day. You worry if you're like slagging on
Mhm.
another person. I feel like this is a little more freeing, just having it be just play it the way you want to, right?
Yeah.
I can
That's a very good point, and I'm going to be really honest. That might be a hot take, or I don't know. Royal, it felt great completing the new social links, but the old one, it felt like a grind. It felt like it was not enjoyable to me. I'm like, even now replaying Golden on Steam, it's like, it's all right. It was cool, but now it's like it's getting kind of old. Like I wish that with Persona 6 they're gonna change the formula a bit with social links. So for me, not having
Yeah.
social links in Strikers is not a problem. Far from that.
No.
True.
I feel like, in fact, I feel like it helps it. Well, how do I
Oh,
explain
yeah.
that? There's two things. There's two ways to look at it. One way is, I feel like the writing team has relied too much on social links to the point that they forget to do like a proper character development. because they're like, oh, we'll just make a storyline for that on the social link. And then some characters like Anne never really get a character development on the entirety of the game until you do their social link. Like if you look at characters like Anne or even like I'll say Ryuji. No, Ryuji does have some character development. No, Anne is the one that or Haru. They don't really have much of a story. They're just kind of there. Although they have like the first beginning of the game where they kind of have that part where they're important. After that, they're not relevant and they're not really part of the story. They're just kind of there. So I feel like this is a good time for the writing team to kind of be like, okay, well, what will we have to do now that there's no social links and everything? On the other hand, it does feel like this game still kind of tried to rely on the social aspects of the game to kind of give them development, which I still don't like. I'm like, can you just write parts of the game properly here? But I'm not saying that it's bad whatsoever. I am so in love with what they did with the game. I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's great.
Sorry, didn't want to interrupt.
No, you go ahead.
Obviously, I'm not far in, but I'm having this feeling, and I kind of need to say it. I'm having this feeling that I feel like this might be the best Persona spinoff we've ever had.
I 100% agree. I redid my ranking of the Persona games like 6 months ago, and yeah, it sits at the top of the spin-offs for me. So it's the best spin-off.
Man, I mean, I'm not far in, but I'm like, every single time that I played a Persona spinoff, I was like, I'm playing this because it's Persona. Because if it wasn't, I wouldn't play this. Now, if this game was like some other series that I didn't care about, with all its special mechanics being an Omega Force action game, with how different it is, it would probably be a game that I would have picked up, even if it wasn't Persona. And that's the first time that this ever happened to me with a Persona spinoff.
Yeah, I agree, because I only played the dancing games because they had the Persona games. I don't like the dancing games. I'm not into them. So I would have never otherwise picked it up. Same thing with the Persona Q game. I'm not particularly married into the gameplay. I like how it is with the actual Atrium Odyssey games, but having the Persona game attached to them doesn't really do them any favor as far as the game and everything. The gameplay doesn't really marry very well with the Atrium Odyssey gameplay. But looking into Strikers, I love how well they were able to make the JRPG style with the hack and slash. Like, they used it so well, and it almost feels like, I'm not saying they did this, by the way, because they came out almost at the same time in Japan, but Final Fantasy VII, the remake, and this game have almost a very similar gameplay style, but it's different. There's like a different approach to them. I don't know if you feel that too.
Yeah.
But
I watched your gameplay of you fighting that boss, and immediately that's what I thought of. I'm like, wait a minute, like that looks just like Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's what got me hyped from watching your gameplay. I'm like, this could actually be like the next level. This could be really good.
Yeah, he definitely.
Your stream is pretty much what I've seen.
How do you
have to say,
yeah, go ahead.
To everyone in the chat, like, if you're heading into this one expecting like a Hyrule Warriors or Fire Emblem Warriors, but with a Persona skin on it, man, you have no clue how wrong you are. Like, man, this is so more in depth. This is so different. It's an action RPG. It's not a Musou game.
Yeah,
it's an action RPG.
100%.
It plays like a Musou games it feels like a Musou games at times, but it's just it's in its substance. It's very different. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they tried to change. Right? They could have just went like copy paste from their old games, but innovating and changing that kind of like makes a whole difference in the game sometimes.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely. I think if it would have been a Persona skin, it would have been a 7 out of 10. But now it's probably higher than that. I'm too soon to give it a note, so that's why I'm not saying. But I doubt it's going to be a 7 or under for me.
Oh, 100%. I actually gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was really good.
That's amazing. That's amazing. for
Yeah,
that type of
yeah,
game.
because Royal was a 9 out of 10 for me too. So it's, it kind of like sits there. In fact, I will even dare to say that some of the changes in the game and story, I kind of liked more in Strikers than Royal. I don't know. I just had other expectations for Royal. They didn't meet my expectations in a lot of aspects. As a remake, remaster, whatever they do for these games and everything, I had something very different in mind for Strikers. But I'm not Strikers. I'm sorry for Royal, but Strikers definitely blew me away with everything, like the story, the gameplay, the different stuff that they did is fantastic. I love Sophie, the new character. She's so she's made to be liked. Like her entire story, the lines that she has. Honestly, I like her more than Kasumi, and I waifued Kasumi on Persona 5 Royal. So like I really like the character of the new characters. I love it so much. Sorry, let me read a comment here. It says the style of Muso with the gameplay is a turn-based action RPG. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's a turn-based action RPG. That's what it is. Like it has moments.
It's very similar to FF7 Remake. I don't know if you would call that a turn-based action RPG, but I get where you're coming from though. It's like it's very action, but then again there's a lot of, if you want to pause a combat, you can. It's like with your spell, you can basically pause it and like think before you act. And we were on it's been a long time, but I was on your podcast for FF7 Remake, and I remember specifically saying that there's two things about FF7 Remake that's amazing. That's extremely amazing. The combat, because it's like very different and it completely works, and the music. That was my thing. And with Strikers, well, those two things are completely amazing as well. Especially the combat. I feel it's really comparable. It's an action take on a turn-based combat.
Yeah, which is different from. Sense. It's actually different. That's the difference between that and Final Fantasy, because Final Fantasy VII felt a little bit more slow. Like it was made slower so you can kind of think and pause time and use the magics and everything. But Strikers is like this. Like you're distracted for 2 seconds and you're dead. There's actually one interesting fact about this game. This game requires like so much. It's so fast paced, but at the same time, it also requires you to kind of like keep an eye on like everybody's health and everybody's bar. I am so glad this game didn't have a stamina bar as well, because because that would have been so bad. But it's just crazy. Like whenever I love the way that you dodge in this game. There is a skill that you get that you can buy from the bonds area, the bond stamps. I don't know if you guys seen that yet. So the bonds is like this multiplier. For if you play Shin Megami Tensei 4, it's kind of like the apps that you get from Boros.
It's a progression system, basically. That's where you level up your stuff.
Exactly, and I love
in depth as well.
I love the way that they did it, because there is one that rewards you for dodging on time, where you can actually do a return on attack as soon as you dodge. And I done some pretty good stuff with it. The enemy will like a boss battle. The enemy will start shooting like a bunch of attacks at once, and I'm like dodging all of them, and then I'm counter-attacking and doing attacks as they're attacking me, and it just feels so smooth. Like none of it feels wrong. It just feels so smooth. Like it's working so well, and I'm like, yeah, this is literally how I imagine turn-based RPG being in like an action way. Like when I'm playing Persona, that's how I see it in my eyes. You know, even though obviously it doesn't feel that way, or it is that way, but it does feel so smooth. I love it. I love that so much. I don't know. That's I'm gushing about the game, but I'm having such a good time, and I had such a good time when I played it the first time. Honestly, the English aspect of it makes it, I think, even better for me. There's some stuff that I think like culturally different between like, the Japanese version and this version. They had to translate some things and everything. But what do you think about the dub and everything so far? You think it was worth the wait?
Oh yeah, I think it's great. Like it's just as good as in P5. It's
Did you think we would have been fine if they had done the not dub only sub version of it? Like if they were just translating
I
the what do you think
I
about that?
Mm,
I wouldn't mind honestly, but I know that it would have been a big deal to many people. But for me personally, I wouldn't mind. I played 6 Yakuza games without voice acting, and it was all right. So it's to me not a big issue. But again, I understand why it is to some people. So it's a good thing that they waited.
You think it's a good thing that waited? What about you,
Yeah.
Rising? I know you've seen gameplay and stuff at this time. So how do you feel
yeah.
about the dub and everything? You think it was worth it waiting for it?
I definitely think it was worth it. What also depends on like how good the dialogue is, or like the writers and stuff.
Mhm.
And just from the bits when I'd go into your stream and I'd see like the characters sort of taking shots at each other and joking around, hearing that in English is so good, and they do such a good job at it. And I feel like, I mean, like actors sort of do that over time, like voice actors. They start to refine the character even more. It comes like a part of them. You can kind of tell the voice actors really get into it. So I think it's worth the English, but yeah, I think just at least like the main like majority of like the fan base would obviously want in English, but there's a lot of people out there who can just have it subtitled or whatever and get away just fine. But I think it's worth the wait for the English version. Yeah.
Fair.
Right on, right on. I feel that that's fair. I feel like a lot of people would have liked it if we didn't get it. For example, when we had Persona Q 2, that it wasn't dubbed, and some people did complain about that.
Strange Journey Redux as well, the same thing.
That sucks.
Mm.
That really
All
does.
the 3DS mainline ports got dubbed except Strange Journey. They were like, nah, fuck it.
And it sucks. It's like one of the best spin-offs.
It's mainline actually for Strange Journey.
Oh
but
yeah,
definitely
yeah,
one of the
yeah,
best
yeah,
games,
yeah. You're right. You're right. I don't know what, but it's really one of the best mainline games. I really love it so much.
It's great.
Um,
Yeah.
Honestly, I just fell in love with the how different it is. I don't know.
Yes, it
Maybe because
is.
I felt like I connected so much to SMT4 and everything. I don't know. The Monicas just make me feel like a prequel to it. That's how it felt to me. I don't know if it is or not. That's my personal thing. I always felt like a prequel to SMT4, even if it's not. I just that's my personal canon.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's cool. It's cool.
yeah, I love it so much. But yeah, I feel like it would have been bad if we didn't have a dub for this game. It just feels so natural. And one of the things that was really interesting, I was watching the stream that they did for the release party. Which some of you guys over here came over and we were watching it together here. But one of the things that they were talking about was how they were working on Persona 5 Rojo and Arena, and at the same time, basically. So like the voice actors finished Arena, not Arena. I'm sorry. The anime Persona 5 animation, and as soon as they finished the animation, they started working on Strikers, which is kind of they never really left the characters. As soon as they stopped, they
That's
just
dope.
yeah, right. So like to them, like to us, it's been like months or a year since the last game, but to them, it was literally like, well, here's the next game, so go ahead and start dubbing it now, kind of thing. So while we were waiting for it so bad, it was actually pretty. I love that live stream that they did because it kind of gave me a good
Mhm.
idea of like what was going on behind scenes and everything. Like they were talking about how. And we talked about this in King's podcast the other day, but they really just worked the game throughout the entirety of the pandemic and everything. And I just feel that they should have said something about it. Like somebody could have just been like, "Hey, yo, we're working on this game.
True.
It's coming." Because it's not that we didn't know that the game was coming. It's like we didn't know when it was coming. It just kind of sucked that nobody even announced the game or anything like that. Uh, so
Yeah, updating the fan base is so like important. At least just to say it's in development is like good enough. You know what I mean? Just to like let them know. Another thing, like sub versus dub kind of debate. It also depends on like a dub is good if it's like an actual good dub. Like who like what company's actually doing it. Like even with like certain stuff like anime. Sometimes it also depends on like the studio and stuff, but they have such a good studio that they did for P5.
Yeah,
That's why I think P5S is so good.
yeah, and the
Have,
crazy
that
thing is
English
they
dub.
have a lot of well-known voice actors too. Like a lot of them do a lot of more like AAA games and whatever, and it's just pretty cool to
And
kind of see them. Yeah, go ahead.
watching the celebration stream that they had, the voice actors for the P5 cast, they feel so invested in their
Mm,
characters. Like you can tell that they love their characters. You can really tell, and that's great. That's really great to see.
yeah, for
We love the
sure.
characters as much as they do.
Yeah, and that's good. You definitely feel that. You feel that there's a lot of love put into it. That they're actually working hard and everything. It's just nice. I really love watching them whenever they were talking and interacting with each other. I'm like, yeah, it looks like they had such a good time with what they were working on and everything. Which is also kind of is interesting to see because I was watching a scene earlier, and I'm like, how do they make it so that it looks like they're having a conversation, but everybody recorded the line separately, but it's like it's so well integrated that it makes it feel like everybody's talking to each other, like it's a group of people talking to each other, when in reality, if you think about it, it's some lady in their closet recording lines. No,
Yeah.
that's literally what happened. One of the girls was talking about how she didn't have a good spot to record their lines, so she was literally with the microphone recording the lines on the closet.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, that was insane. When I saw it, I was like, oh man, like I felt so bad about it too. I was just like, oh man, I can't imagine like having to do all this crazy stuff so you can kind of record it and everything. So it's awesome. I'm very happy to see them talk about the game, and see them too excited and everything. They actually even played the game. Did you guys see that part? They were like, they were talking about the they actually live streamed like the first hour of the game or so.
Hey, what's up, Chris?
You guys hear me?
Oh, hey, can you
Yeah.
guys can you hear us?
Yep.
I totally didn't see you there. Thank you so much so Chris from Chrillcast, thank you so much for coming in. We're talking about the dub right now. I don't know if you were listening or not.
You talking about the dub, you said?
Yeah, the Persona 5 Strikers dub.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't delved too deeply into the dub yet, so I would love to hear you guys' thoughts.
Yeah, we're just
Just
talking
as good
about.
as
Yeah,
Royal in vanilla for now.
sorry, what was it?
As it's basically just as good as vanilla and Royal for
Oh
now.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I love. I just love watching them and the chemistry. Which somebody even mentioned that. It was just good. I really love all this. All of the people. They was so nice. So. Where were we? What have we talked about so far? Chris, have you played the game yet?
Unfortunately, my copy's still in the mail.
Yeah, same here. My physical copy is still in the mail. That was like I was so impatient. I had to go and pre-order the deluxe edition. I'm like, I hate digital games, and I was like, this is one of those games that I really want to own physical. Like I wanted to own all versions, and I'm like, I wouldn't want to buy two of the metal cases and everything like that. So I hate that I don't get to do that either. But by the way, are you getting that metal case from Best Buy or?
Yeah, actually, an update on that. Apparently, those aren't coming until sometime in March. So we're gonna be getting the physical copies in the standard cases, and then like next month, I will be receiving my steelbook. So it's kind of weird.
Oh, really?
Really? How did you get an update from Best Buy about that, or?
Yeah, it looks like my standard copies are shipping, but it also has an update that says the steelbooks are coming in March. So it's kind of weird.
Oh, weird. Mine doesn't even say that. Mine just says
Interesting.
pre-ordered.
Okay.
It doesn't have to
Did you
be
get the
sealed.
PS4 version of it or the Switch version?
I've got both versions coming from a Best Buy about maybe 20 miles from my house.
And both of them are delayed until March.
Just the steelbook. The steelbooks themselves are
Right.
delayed. The
I
games themselves
understand.
are showing up.
No, I meant the cases. Are both of the cases for both of the games delayed?
That is correct. They have the same update. They both say like March something. I think it was the 5th, but I can pull up my order right now and look if you want.
Yeah, I'm looking at mine right now because you just mentioned that. Mine still says shipped on Sunday 21st. They just shipped it today. Wow, well, I'm not getting it up by Tuesday. Don't lie to me. They just shipped it today, so I don't think I'm gonna get it by Tuesday, guys. I know I buy often enough here to where I don't actually like I know when I'm gonna get games early or not.
What? Speaking of bad shipping, want to hear a funny story?
Oh, dude, yeah, good.
I ordered something from Best Buy here recently, which is a disk drive, external disk drive, and they're using Canada Post. Okay, so they're shipping from Ontario to Quebec, where I am, and I'm gonna receive this thing after another item that I bought last Monday from Amazon Japan. How crazy is that? Like, Canada Post is terrible here. It is terrible, and I'm being very nice.
I feel like the national post is always pretty bad. Like, I remember in Mexico, whatever postal services is super bad. Nobody wants to use it. Like, we all use like UPS and whatever the FedEx is, whatever. Way better. Like, we just don't even bother using it in regular basis. We just don't use the national mail either. And I know the U.S. Postal Service is actually pretty trash too, because I had some pretty bad experiences with that.
Because the Japanese order that I did is actually a FedEx delivery, and I'm getting it very fast, so it's awesome.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So hopefully you get that soon.
I have an update on my Best Buy order.
Oh, what's up?
It says arriving by Tuesday now. They changed it.
Yes. Wonderful. I hope so. King got his like yesterday, right?
Yep. He got his Switch version yesterday.
Yeah.
He was supposed to get his PS4 version yesterday as well, that he told me, but he didn't.
I cannot believe he waited. I would have just ripped that thing apart and just start playing it. Even if it's a Switch version, I'm like, it's whatever. You're gonna enjoy the game either way.
He was kind of surprised when I said that that I was gonna play the Switch version first, and I have two versions pre-ordered.
Yeah, I guess it just depends. A lot of people like the portability aspect, that you want to lay down and play and everything.
Yeah.
Personally, I just love sitting on my couch playing on my computer, on my screen, on the big screen. Like, that's my favorite thing to do, is just like lay down and play games. Now that I stream, I have to sit down on a computer, which I don't like too much. But personally, when I'm just playing by myself, I like to lay down on the couch and just play games on the big screen. I always loved that. When I was young, I always loved console.
I pretty much exclusively game on my Vita.
Do you really?
That's nice.
Are you gonna be playing Strikers on the Vita as well, I'm assuming?
Pretty much guaranteed. I even played Cyberpunk 2077 on my Vita.
Hell yeah, I'm sure. You have a PS5, right? Chris?
Yeah, I've got the PS4 Pro.
Oh, you have the Pro?
I started hearing I don't know if you guys have heard of this coil whine thing, but it sounds to me like my hard drive might be starting to go on my PS4 Pro, so I might be upgrading to an SSD in the near future.
Dude, I had to do that myself, actually. It ended up corrupting and losing everything. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to invest on an SSD. I might as well. So I got one, and it was great. But then I bought a PS5 like 3 months later. So now I just have the PS4 Pro getting dust there. I'm probably gonna sell it, but I'm not sure yet.
I do have a question about your PS5. Have you played Royal on the PS5?
I have.
I did.
What do you guys think of? Are there any enhancements that are worthwhile in Royal on the PS5, or not really?
Not really. What it is that the enhancement doesn't come from the game itself. It comes from the manufacturer or the developer, and Atlas didn't bother doing anything for it.
Of course they didn't.
So unfortunately, unless they do it, nothing's gonna be different. The loading times are great, though. I will say that the loading times are really nice. It's just so seamlessly going from, when you go from the train to to another part, the train just kind of goes boop, and then you have the next scene. You don't really like have to say through, because the train is a loading scene, but it is much faster than the loading scenes itself, basically. Which is kind of funny. I actually love seeing all that. Same thing with Strikers. Strikers has in the PS5 has like pretty much no loading times. In fact, it's so fast. Both of the animations kind of come up at almost at the same time. So there is an animation that does a transition from left to right with Joker kind of pulling like the thing over, and then there's another one backwards when he kind of jumps around and then he's pulling it back, and the animations just happen back to back, so you don't actually have like the black screen that is supposed to show up. It just kind of goes back into a loop. But yeah, I strongly recommend playing the games on PS5, but I don't know if are they still selling it?
I've seen some in the wild, actually, physically at department stores near where I live. I just have no reason to buy.
Really?
I got no reason to buy one right now. I don't have any games I want to play on the PS5.
You see some outside. That's crazy. I know so many people trying to get one still.
I even reached out to some of my friends that were looking for them, and they're like, "Nah, I'm good." I was like, "Okay, whatever."
I guess some people got tired of waiting or looking for one. I know one of my friends did. He was like, he even messaged me and asked me if he could buy my PS5, and I was like, no, I'm not looking to buy it. And he offered me like $800, and I was like, well, maybe. I don't want to be one of those scalpers either, but I like my PS5 and everything. But he ended up just kind of just giving up completely. I reached out to him. I was like, yo, you still looking for one? He was like, no, I gave up. And I was like, okay, well, that sucks, but good luck. I guess some people just give up after a while. Or the scalper situation is crazy too. It got out of hand really bad. Did you guys see the pricing for that stuff?
No, not really.
Really? You didn't?
You're talking about the scalping prices?
Yeah, the scalping prices. Yeah, did you guys see how bad they were?
No.
There were some going pretty high. I saw one that was going like 1,500, 1,200. Like it was like weird, crazy numbers. I was really shocked. Honestly,
the cheapest one on eBay right now is like 800. That's like the cheapest you can get.
Is that the?
Figure out there's 5 exclusive games. Like there's no reason to do
Right.
that.
I personally wouldn't do that at all. The only thing that I will do will be the I guess what I don't know. There's no games. I don't know. There was no game that I was gonna say like this game is worth buying the PS5 for.
I mean, it depends. If you're like a massive Souls fan, I think Demon's Souls probably worth it.
I don't know, like I'm a fan, but I still wouldn't go on like I don't know, like if Persona 6 today was like announced, right? I was like, okay, well it's only gonna be available on Switch Pro. Just saying. Will I go and buy a Switch Pro? Probably. Because of a lot of different reasons, really. But would you buy the PS5 for Persona 5 or Persona 6 if they were to announce it today?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess it just really depends. I don't know. I don't have like one single game that I don't know. It's just a collective of games. Like I liked what was it, man? What was it?
You liked it so much that you forgot about it.
No. I liked Miles Morales. I really liked that game.
Okay.
And I liked the Demon's Souls remake. It was nice too. But I still wouldn't be like jumping at a PS5 right away. I don't know. I bought it for the channel really. I wanted to have like to review newer games or whatever comes out or whatever. That was more of my purpose for it.
I got it at launch, and I don't have any PS5 games yet. Well, I have DMC5 Special Edition, but I need to play the other DMC games before because I only played one. So
oh, really?
I have a PS5 game, but it's sealed. So
The only thing I would say is if somebody's thinking about getting a PS5 right now, my personal opinion is if you have a working PS4, unless you're like really itching to get next gen, there's like no reason to hop in, especially with the DualSense having that stick drift issue right now.
Agreed. Except if there's like one of the games that you really want to have. That's cool if that's the case. If not, it's like, well.
If you don't have a working PS4 though, there's no reason to get a PS4 if you can get a PS5.
Agreed. Except if you just want a PS4, say you just want one game and then you're done. Even if you can play it on PS4, you obviously don't need a PS5.
If you want to play just one game, they're probably just going to buy a Switch, honestly. Like the PS4 is... you might as well get a PS5.
I don't know. I don't know. I only bought the Switch for like 2 games, so I can't really like. I don't see it on the camp of like I really like the Switch. I don't really like the Switch. I like the idea of the Switch. I just don't like the execution of the Switch so far. Like game was, like Shin Megami Tensei 5 isn't here yet. And so like I bought it. Like the only thing that I bought it for was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which it came out of release, and SMT5. That's like literally the only 2 games that I was waiting for. Some of the games that come out from time to time, I'm like, okay, this is a nice surprise. I'm gonna get it. But it's so far few in between for me. Like it's not even like I have like I'm looking at my Switch collection and I maybe have like 7 games total.
So, I'm in the same boat. I've got like 7 games.
So like I don't know. Like if it was between yeah, go ahead. So I know you have a bunch.
I mean, I already have more Switch games than PS4 games, and I bought the PS4 at launch.
Oh, that's crazy! I didn't know that.
Well, you do know that I'm not a first-party Sony guy. Like, there's Sony, they literally have 0 first-party IP that I care about. 0. Like all my PS4 games. My PS4 is a Sega machine. I have all the Atlas games and all the Yakuza games. I have Sakura Wars, and I have Horizon Zero Dawn because King bullied me into buying it. But that's pretty much it. I don't think I have anything else. Like my PS4 collection is very small.
I bought a ton of PS4 games just to remote play on the Vita because the games were never coming to the Switch, and I like playing portably. So like if I have great internet in my house, so I'm basically playing PS4 portably, which is the reason why I love the PS4 and the Vita together.
So did you buy Strikers on PS4 or Switch?
Both.
Both? Okay, cool.
That's funny. Well, I did the same thing too, I guess. So
we all did.
Yeah, we all did. Did you get you don't own a Switch, Racing?
No, I have a Switch, but I didn't even like think to get it on Switch. Like, no, I bought the Switch to play Pokemon, and Pokemon's been so bad.
Dude, same, right?
I'm like disappointed. If it wasn't for SMT5, I might not have my Switch. Like, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think it's been a long time. I think the last game that I played on Switch was a total clusterfuck for me. It was was it The World Ends With You, the remaster that they did on Switch?
What
I
a great
remember you
port.
talking about that.
It's
amazing controls.
It's so bad. Let me tell you, it's so bad. I rage quit and like ended my stream. I didn't rage quit. I was more like so frustrated. People could see me.
It's a game that it is basically portable only.
Yeah,
Switch version.
100%.
You can play that docked. It's a portable only game.
Yeah, that game was not made for that.
So yeah.
It was crazy, and it frustrated me so much. I had such a hard time with it. I was like, this game just messed my experience with the game total. Like I wanted to play it. I don't know. I'm not a handheld kind of person. I think I mentioned this before. So I was really looking forward to kind of sitting down and playing on the screen and everything, but it was such a bad experience for me. Like I forced myself to like play through the game, and let me tell you, the touch screen and the touch attacking and everything doesn't do it for me. That's pretty bad. I don't know. I didn't like the gameplay whatsoever. Even when I was playing it on handheld, I still wasn't having like the blast or anything like that. But it was so frustrating, and one of my Joy-Cons had a drift, This is my third Joy-Con to have the drift.
Get the Split Pad Pro. I can't recommend it enough. If you're gonna play the Switch portably at all, just don't use the Joy-Cons. Use the Hori Split Pad Pro. It basically hooks an Xbox 360 controller to both sides of your Switch, and there's no stick drift.
Oh no, it's not because of the Joy-Con aspect. I don't have let me also explain. I had a Pro, and it also had the drift issue. I had just bad issue with Nintendo products. And
even with the Pro controller,
dude, yeah, he did too. Like it has so many issues. I threw it away. I was so mad. I was like, why? What? And it only lasted me like 5-6 months. I bought it on release when the Switch came out.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Man,
So
I love the Pro controller.
yeah, it feels so nice, right? You will think.
Yeah,
It's probably my favorite controller. It's awesome.
I think
same, and I've always been like a Sony fanboy, but like I love the Pro controller.
I think for me, it's a PlayStation 5 controller, the Pro controller, and then the Xbox controller. And then the PlayStation controller is just trash. I don't know. I never been a fan of the PlayStation controllers. They're just not. There's
Same.
something about them that
Except the DualSense.
yeah, the new one, it's so nice. The PS5 controller is so nice. It feels like a Pro controller with like an Xbox controller. I don't even explain it. I don't know. It feels so nice. I love it. It's like my favorite part about the PS5.
Hey, the Wii U Pro controller is pretty boss.
It really is. Feels quality. I had one.
Which one? I'm sorry, I missed that.
The Wii U Pro controller.
The Wii U
Oh,
Pro
right.
controller. Oh,
The deluxe controller or something.
I still have mine. It's the Wii U Pro controller, but the weird thing with the Wii U Pro controller is that both of the analog sticks are on the top, and both of the button and the D-pads, the buttons and the D-pad are on the bottom. So it's like reverse of a DualShock controller.
oh, that's interesting. That sounds kind of wacky,
I don't know
though.
if I can do that.
Yeah, I feel that
would
sounds
be
kind of
weird.
wacky. It sounds weird. I don't know. I don't know if I could be able to play like that. It sounds interesting, though, for sure. Anyway, we went from all these to Persona 5 Strikers, so let me get it back to the beginning. Chris, have you played anything of Persona 5 Strikers so far? Whether it's like the demo or...
I'll be honest with you. I'm trying to not spoil myself on as much as possible with that game, so I have avoided as much as I can because I'm supposed to get it on Tuesday, and I'll be playing the crap out of it that day.
Nice. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of people that are that way. For example, I made a video for yesterday, and somebody was like, "You posted a spoiler in the thumbnail." I'm like, "That's not a spoiler. It's been in the trailers before." And like, "Well, I haven't seen the trailer." I'm like, "Well, I am sorry, but if it's in a trailer, to me, it's always like fair game. Like if it's something that is on a trailer, it's fair game to me to use it as a thumbnail. But I'm not gonna like spoil you the game or tell you like boss battles or anything like that. I don't know. I hate the people that will do final boss battle and they have like a giant picture on the thumbnail of the boss battle of the boss that you're fighting and everything.
Yeah.
And it pretty much just like spoils you. I got spoiled with the original Persona 5. Because there was a giant thumbnail of the final boss on Persona 5, and if you know the game tricks you into playing a different person first. You're like, oh, okay, so this is the boss battle, and then like, oh no, this is the actual boss battle, the final boss.
They always do that.
They always do that.
Atlas games like in mainline, it happens very often.
Yeah, I know, right? That's one of the things that I actually don't like about those. I'm like, can we stop this? It's not even shocking. By Persona 4, I was not shocked. But I was shocked is the amount of times they do that on Persona 4. Because they'll pull that one on you, not once, not twice, not 3, not 4 times. They pull it to you enough times that you're like, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? No, for real. I completely lost my train of thought just now. No, that's one of those things. So, Chris, I want to go back to you as far as that. So, what do you know about Persona 5 Strikers?
The most that I know about Persona 5 Strikers is it's a continuation from the vanilla Persona 5. It doesn't really touch a lot of the royal aspects, and it kind of plays like a Raidou game as opposed to like a Dynasty Warriors.
yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. No, and I will say those kind of reference Persona 5 Royal, but in like not in like a major way that it's gonna be like, oh, aha, or anything like that. It does touch upon it a little bit, but it's not anything that is gonna be, like I say, like spoilery or important or anything like that. I feel like they did a pretty good job leaving it open. Because personally, like if I wasn't a real big fan, right? Like I played Persona 5, I skip Royal, and I see Strikers. I don't want to have to go and play Royal just to enjoy Strikers. So I can see why they kind of just left it on the open or anything. Although they should definitely play Royal. If you like Persona 5, you should play Royal. It's like I feel like it's the superior version in a lot of different ways. I don't know. Somebody disagrees with that.
I think Royal's good. It had some quality of life stuff that I wish was in the vanilla version. But as I'm replaying it right before I play Strikers, which I am in the middle of right now, I actually don't think there's some aspects of Royal that I think are worse than vanilla.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. One of my biggest issues, so I don't mind if we talk about this. One of my bigger issues with Persona 5 Royal, it's like the writing is so distinct between what's new and what's not new. And it's not because I played the other games. Like it's a completely different tone on what they're writing about. It's like it goes in like two separate directions, and it's like a different message altogether. Like the original ending versus the different Royal ending. It's two different messages and two different tones for like the game ending, and everything just feels so different. And that's kind of like one of those things that I will say like a detriment to the game. Because I personally think I like the writing more in Royal, but they left so much of the original game that it just feels disconnected at times. I don't know if you can agree with that or not.
I like the bonus.
Sorry, Chris, you cut off.
My hotkey, I was on the YouTube page instead of on Discord, so it was like being funky. Anyways, I liked the bonus characters they added to Royal. I just feel like they could have been integrated into the story a little better than they were. Like Marie was kind of like, you felt kind of forced in Persona 4 Golden, but she felt like she was definitely part of the story, especially by the end. Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel like the ending is what really ties the new characters into Royal, as opposed to them being part of the main story.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what I was saying, that I feel like the writing is almost so disconnected from that. Like, sure, they're important because of the new characters added into the game, but Maruki, for example, I know so many of my viewers that didn't get the right ending because they just ignore Maruki. Like he just felt like tagged on, like, okay, there's this other guy, you can hang out with him. So some people just didn't get the Royal ending because of that, or they didn't hang out with him at all.
Or how about the fact that Goro is missable?
Right, completely. Somebody even I did a tips like Persona 5 tips for Persona 5 Royal tips, and people just they just went and asked me. I'm like, hey, how do you do this? And one of those things was like, where is he? I was like, where is who? I was like, where's Goro? I'm like, oh my god, are people not finding him or something? I don't know. I thought it was funny. Well, David, question for you. Now that you played a little bit of the game, and obviously you played Royal, what would you say as far like what do you like better as far as like how it looks? Would you say Royal looks better than Strikers?
Yeah, for the look only, yeah, I think so. Like it's a different. They're using the same art style and stuff. The menus in Strikers are definitely better in my opinion. They're even more stylish, which still amaze me. It's like, wow, the menus in Royal were already nice. They're even nicer now. But I think like when you're traveling in the world and stuff, it's definitely not as beautiful, I think. But that's just a minor complaint. Like honestly, it's not even a complaint. It's just comparing both. I think Royal was a bit better in that aspect.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? Have you seen enough of it to kind of compare it between both of them?
To be honest with you, as far as the art style goes, it looks like it's Persona 5. I can't really comment on that too much. other than it looks like Persona 5. And because you have a different style of game, yeah, the art's going to be slightly different, and it's being worked on by a different company. So even if you had all the same assets, like when they compile it together, it's going to look slightly different.
Yeah, it's a different engine altogether, so it does look different. What about you, Rising? Have you seen enough on the game to kind of be like, oh, I like this better than the other?
From the bits that I've seen, there's I think a couple new sprites. The new sprites do look good, and when they use like the 3D models of the characters, like it's supposed to be kind of like a cutscene, but it's not like an animated cutscene. It's the characters walking around.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are done a lot nicer compared to like, because it sometimes feels stiff and royal.
Yeah, there's one screenshot that I took today. I want to show you guys. This looks better. So far, I still felt like I like the royal better in some aspects. There's some aspects that where it kind of clips, and I don't like the way that it looks, the certain things. And this is what baffles me a little bit. I kind of want to show you guys these two separate screens, because it's how the game can look both really nice and really ugly sometimes, which I'm confused about. So let me kind of show you guys here if I can pull it up. Oh, man, where is it? I know I posted it here. I'm trying to pull up the picture. If I can, I don't think I'm gonna be able to. Anyway, this is one of them, which I really like how it looks, because it looks super clean. This is what kind of got me being like, yeah, the game just looks slightly better on Strikers. Oh, it's one of those, you have to click on it. Sorry. But there are other times where the if you look a little bit close to the screen looks just really pixelated, or like the model itself looks a little ugly in some aspects. Have you guys noticed that? It looks kind of like stretched out.
Yeah.
Give me a second opening your.
Okay, I'm sending two of them.
Screenshots of where it looks pixely, and if I remember right, I actually posted something on Facebook in one of the groups talking about if they graphically had seen anything wrong with the game, and that might be an anti-aliasing issue with the PC. Mm-hmm. Why it might have that weird texture. Like I guess the anti-aliasing isn't working as efficiently as it should. So that could just be a patch that we see where something like that could be fixed.
Yeah, I don't know. The game was never patched in Japan, though.
The second picture that you sent is exactly what I was trying to describe. Like, but around the characters, it's really rough, and that's only when you're like in the world. Like in battle, you don't really notice it. Mm-hmm. In the cutscenes, you don't necessarily notice it either. But when you're like traveling in the world like that, it's really noticeable. That's like the only visually speaking, the only complaint that I have, and it's very minor. It's not a deal breaker to me.
Yeah, it's definitely not. But again, like there are some times when you like the first image that I show you guys, like it just looks so good, and they are character models and everything. But they are not the animated cutscenes, which I really just love how it looks and everything. And again, there are some times where the game looks like the second picture, and it's kind of just like, okay, why does it look like that? I don't think it's bad, but it definitely like has so much pixelated stuff. And not just that, there are some assets like the rocks on the corner to the left. I don't know if you guys see the picture still or not, but the rocks in the corner on the left, those look really rough. All those stones, the pebbles put together.
I think a lot of it has to be with them taking models from a different game and putting it into a different engine. Because I know that could sometimes mess something up when you're running a game with a different engine, but with models that weren't made in the engine. Sometimes it can like mess up like that.
Yeah, but at the same time, again, sometimes it just looks beautiful. It's give or take, I guess, in some aspects there.
What would break it for me though would be the music. If the music's bad, that would break the whole game for me.
Well, lucky for you, the music is fantastic. I don't know. How do you like the Persona 5 music, the original soundtrack?
I actually like vanilla P5 music better than Royal music. And it tends to be the case across the board for me, the remakes. I tend to like the original soundtracks better than the remake soundtracks. but especially in Royal, I liked the battle theme, and I liked the main theme better than I like Royal's main theme and Royal's battle theme.
Interesting. So I don't know. So one thing that the game does is basically kept a lot of the taste and the flavor of the original music. It just feels really, really like the original vanilla game. In like the music, it just kept that more than Royal did, because Royal did a lot of new soundtracks. Strikers didn't. They have some new songs. Like every new city has its own soundtrack for that particular city. You know, like it's sound. You know, the sound when you're traveling in the city and walking around and everything. Which is, I think, Tokyo Daylights in
I think
the
it is.
original game. Yeah, and basically that's what they do. Every single city has its own music, but when you're in battle, it's a remix. There are like two songs. There's one that's an original one, and then a remix of the other two songs, and they're so good. Like sometimes I'm like, man, I could just fight for days with this song. Like it's just that good.
Yeah.
Although
The music in general in Strikers is amazing. I've been listening to the soundtrack since the game came out in Japan, and playing it right now, it's like, it's awesome to hear the old music again, and it's awesome to hear the remix of the old themes again and the new music. Everything's awesome. The music is 10 out of 10. Honestly, it is that good.
yeah, what
Music is so an important thing for like setting the mood.
Exactly. They do that so right. That's one of my favorite things about it. I really, really like the way that they approach that. However, the funny thing is, you can get the DLC to get all the other the battle themes for the other games, and I just left it on shuffle, so I don't hear it as often actually now. Now I just have Persona 2 plays a lot actually. Sorry, you have a question here from King David. How did you get how did you get that glitch into the wall, David?
Actually, it wasn't really hard to do. I'm pretty sure you guys could replicate it. I had to jump onto the ledge where I was before it glitched out, and when I jumped, I kept my left joystick to run. I kept it going forward, so I was running towards the wall, and then while holding the joystick, I have no clue how I did this. Actually, it might not be that easy. But while holding the joystick forward, with my thumb, I like dropped my thumb and it hit one of the arrows from the D-pad, like the left one. So I changed character while running in the wall. It glitched and I jumped in the wall. That's how it happened.
Shit.
I'm pretty sure I could replicate that except if it was like a unique thing and I was at the right frame at the right place exactly. But it felt like it's kind of weird to say that, but it felt natural. Like it felt like a natural glitch. I'm sure we could replicate that, definitely.
Interesting. Yeah, I love how there were so many really interesting glitches in Xenoverse. Not Xenoverse. Is that Xenoverse? Xenoblade? Is that Xenoblade Chronicles?
What do you mean?
Xenoblade Chronicles. They had a glitch where you jump in when you're in the cave area, you jump, and if you jump on the exact spot, it glitches you all the way down to this area where you can grind. And you don't have to do anything. You just have to walk around the area. It's like a high level dungeon area.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the first time I accidentally did it, I went from being level 10 to level 50. But just by walking around, I didn't find anything or did anything.
That's actually pretty useful because Xenoblade Chronicles is not an easy game, so definitely helpful
if you're really grindy. Yeah, it's really grindy. And then I looked.
Do you know if that glitch was in the original game as well?
Yeah, it was in the original game.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, and they didn't fix it. That's classic Nintendo for you. They don't care.
That picture I just dropped in the chat, that's actually the Wii U Pro controller for anybody that was curious.
I can't.
Oh, that's crazy. That's
analog,
pretty interesting.
dude.
How do you do when you're trying to do the doing things with a controller? Like you need an extra thumb.
Honestly, I like the Wii U Pro controller quite a bit, but I don't play a lot of games that require dual analogs on the Wii U, so that could be why. I mean, the gamepad's the same way, though. The gamepad with the screen on it has the thumbsticks on top just like that.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Oh,
Yeah,
that might be why it's like that then. That makes sense.
yeah, that makes more sense. But that is wild. I don't remember this at all. I don't think I ever bought one of those. I only had a Wii U for like a couple months before they announced the Switch.
I completely skipped the Wii U like entirely. I don't know why. It sold poorly. I mean, but
Well,
that doesn't mean there's bad
you
games.
missed out on a few games before, but now they're all on Switch, so it's not really problematic anymore. You're missing out on like Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is gonna happen at some point, so it's cool. You don't have to go and buy one. The Zelda HD ports as well, they're coming, so
Yeah, I
you're
got
definitely
it.
it's not worth it.
I think I got it
the YouTube.
for one of the Zelda games. I don't remember which one though.
Probably
Breath of the
Wind
Wild
Waker. It was the
actually-
first one, so
Which
Breath
one?
of the Wild actually came out in Wii U. Did you guys know that?
yeah, it was a Wii U. Hey, it was my most anticipated game for the longest time. So
Yeah.
no, I mean,
He
Wind
remembers.
Waker was the first
Wind
HD
Waker.
port,
Yes,
and
yes,
it was
yes.
really soon in the lifespan of the Wii U. So a bunch of people bought their Wii U for this particular game.
Yeah,
I really like the
Just think
Zelda
it's-
HD
I got
remakes.
the Wind Waker
awesome.
edition of the game.
Nice.
Yeah, with the lines
console?
and everything, the console. Yeah, it was super cool.
It's
I had to
beautiful.
sell it. I was broke and I had to sell it, but I really like that. I had that and Mario Kart. That was my two games.
There's other good games. The Twilight Princess HD is great. Hyrule Warriors is great. Xenoblade Chronicles X is great.
Oh,
Tokyo
the
Mirage
Tokyo Mirage
Sessions is
Stations.
great.
Yeah, I had that one too. Yeah, I pre-ordered
First
that one.
Mario Maker, like the first, like the original came out on Wii U. That's the only thing that made me feel like I want to buy one. But I mean, Switch has the sequel, so
Tokyo Mirage Sessions was the reason I bought a Wii U, and then I actually have a bigger Wii U collection than my PS4 collection.
Really
How?
interesting.
That's awesome.
They even
I pretty
made
much
that-
have every Switch port on the Wii U because it's cheaper and easier to obtain at the time when the Switch launched.
That's fair.
Oh.
But then again, portability.
and
That's the thing.
and well, I was gonna say 1080p. Is the Wii U 1080p or 720p?
It is, but for the most part, the game's scaled down to 720p on the screen. You can also remote play on the Wii U gamepad, most games, and that scales it down to 480p, but it's actually a bigger screen than the Vita. So, you got pluses and minuses between, remote playing on the Wii U gamepad versus the Vita.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I never thought of using the remote play because never thought it was that long. How many feet did that work? I don't know.
Mine can work. So the radios degrade over time. It's something that you need to keep in mind with the Wii U gamepad if anybody has one. The radios inside there that communicate between the console and the actual gamepad do degrade over time. But right now, mine's hitting 30 feet, no problem.
is there input delay with the remote play? Or like how bad is it?
No, actually, the Vita's got no delay. The Wii U's got no delay. Because, the Wii U screen is built to be in sync with the console. That's the whole point, right? So
Yeah.
they've got it as in sync as you can possibly get with a remote play device. It's got one connection, and that only connection is with the base station, the console.
Yeah, it's actually a much better way of doing it than Wi-Fi. Because Wi-Fi, there's so
Yeah.
many other variables that you have to account for. But when you have the radio, it's just much better, I think.
Sony actually created a specific link between the PS4 and the Vita, but the Vita's Wi-Fi card, I don't know if you guys know this, but the Vita's Wi-Fi card is pretty weak. So unless you're sitting within about 10 feet of the PS4, that direct connection is useless.
They actually updated that on the Japanese version of the game of the Vita, which I bought. They updated the Wi-Fi card that they had to be much better. Actually,
For the 2000 model, or do they have an actual model with a better Wi-Fi?
they actually have an actual model. No, it came out after the 2000 models. Remember that they did in, I don't know if you remember this. They did this. It looks like the 2000 models, but they came out in a bunch of different colors.
That was like Rev 3, but it was the 2000. It was the 2000 shell, but I didn't realize they did anything with the internals.
Yeah, they that was literally the only difference between the shells and the Wi-Fi card. That's the only thing that they changed, which is actually the better thing to do. But it's also kind of suckish that we never got all those stuff over here, especially with the colors. I thought it would have sold so well over here. You know, because I don't know, the black one. This is fine, but I've never been a fan of the black consoles or the. I like having colors. Like I was the one kid with the purple transparent purple Game Boy Advance or
I
Game
had
Boy
the
Color.
same one. Talking about the Game Boy Color, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I love that so much. I thought it was the coolest thing. In fact, whenever they Sony released this series of 3 controllers that they did with that same style, it was a blue one, a white one, and a red one, and I bought all 3 of them just because I love that so much. You know, looking at
Nice.
all the internals and everything. David, did those ever come out on in Canada?
I think so. I think that was pretty widespread because I remember seeing commercials for it, but it was like they had like one color was at Walmart, one color was at Target, and one color was at
Exactly.
GameStop.
Yeah, I remember hunting for the last one. I think it was the GameStop one, the one that was hard, the red one. No. Yeah, GameStop's the red one. Yeah. It took me forever to be able to find it. I drove around like 4 or 5 different stores because they kept telling me, "Oh, this store has one," and then I went there and like, "Oh no, we don't have one. The inventory is wrong." I'm like, I hate when the GameStop does that to you. Have you guys ever had to do that with their stores?
When I bought a PS TV, it took me like 3 stores, and then I bought one on eBay instead.
Did you pay extra, or did you buy it when they were super cheap?
I got it secondhand, like right after they were super cheap, so mine was $40.
Oh, nice. Mine was, I think it was $40 a release actually, $39.99, and then they had a packet for $100 with like 2 games and a memory card and a controller. That was the best deal. It came with all the stuff that you needed. It came with some games, with a memory card and a PS3 controller for it. I
That is a
remember.
good deal.
Yeah, and I can't believe people didn't take on it because honestly, it was one of the best ideas that they come up with, especially once the beta was dying and everything. There was such a brilliant idea. I can't believe people just didn't jump on it. I did. As soon as they announced it, I was like, I'm buying one. I'm gonna need it at some point.
Honestly, I could give you the reason why. It's because Sony just like with the Vita, they marketed the PS TV very poorly. They basically said it was a streaming device, but then when you buy it, the only thing that streams on it was Hulu because they didn't port the Netflix app from the Vita to the PS TV, and it didn't output in 1080p. So even if you remote played the PS4 on it, it only outputs in 720p, but you can scale it up to 1080p on your TV by just changing the aspect ratio. Anyways, the PS TV was a huge missed concept that Sony could have basically had a Switch before a Switch. It'd be like a bonus dock. But there's just so many limitations that were on it. And if you were marketing it as a streaming device and it only does Hulu, that's really bad marketing.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh
but
for sure.
I never
Yeah.
even heard about that Vita thing. I definitely probably would have jumped on that back then, but I didn't even know it was a thing. That sounds like a really good package, actually.
Yeah, it was one of the coolest things I think that they came up with. I love the idea of the Vita. First of all, like I was such a fan of the PSP back when it came out. I still have my PSP actually, and then obviously the Vita as well. And I loved both of them. I was so in love with the idea of them. I personally thought it was like so much better than the 3DS. Especially the PSP. It had such a good library of games. It was really impressive the kind of games that we're getting. I love that. And then whenever they announced Persona 4 Golden for Vita, I was like, I am buying one day one as soon as it comes up. That was like the one reason why I bought it.
It depends on what you're looking for because for me personally, like I own like 0 Vita games. I just, the library, like all the games that are on it, I can play and elsewhere. So like all the games are on Switch, or not all of them, but a bunch of them are on Switch. So I don't really have an incentive to take out my Vita anymore.
Honestly, in my particular shoes, and I'm not the majority, I'm more of the minority in this one, but between my kids and my wife having the TV in the living room, most of the time I get to play my PS4 is when I remote play it to my Vita, so that I can have the PS4 playing games on my Vita. So I actually use it more as a portable PS4 than I do as a Vita at this point, because I've played through almost all the Vita games I wanted to.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it and everything. That's kind of when I recently got that Xbox Cloud beta thing that they did or they're doing right now? Is this still in beta or still open now? I don't know. I was in the beta
If
anyway.
you're Android or iPhone, if you're an iPhone, then I think it's still they put it back to beta because Apple blocked the app on the App Store.
Oh
So
yeah,
they're gonna make it run through the web browser.
No, I was on the Android version of the game. That impressed me so much. In fact, I played in like 50% of Yakuza. The what is that? Yakuza Kiwami on my phone. I played the entirety of like the first like 5 hours of the game on my phone.
Through XCloud?
Yeah, through xCloud, and it is
How
great.
was it?
It is great because I'm right now I'm playing Zero, and basically I'm playing both of them at the same time. I realized that Kiwami is not a really good place to start. I think Zero is a better way to
Zero's
start.
a better place, but
Yeah.
Chihuahua's a great place to start as well. Oh, both are amazing. You should play them one at a time, though, because they're like Chihuahua's like
No. Well,
after or something.
yeah. So what I did is I played the first 5 hours of Kiwami, and then I was like, I think I'm gonna play Zero because everybody keeps telling me it's a better way to start. So I started Zero. So right now, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm playing Zero. I'm
Zero's the top 5 games of all time.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. I feel like I'm liking it more than Kiwami. It's just I don't know. It's just having it as an introduction to all the characters and kind of getting to know them.
That's because
Yeah, it's a much better experience for me. Although right now, I'll be honest with you, man, 7's still my top right now. Like I just love 7 so much. Everything about it is just so good. The gameplay is so good. I loved Like a Dragon gameplay. It was fantastic. So I don't know. I'm not digging the gameplay so much on those games. I've never been a fan of the beat 'em ups. It's a little bit slower for me, like a action game, but there's sometimes that the game just surprises me, in like a crazy way. But yeah, I love it. Anyway, going back to xCloud thing, I was shocked how well and how responsive it is. There's like, I have good internet, so I do have to clarify that, but it's so fun how seeing almost no input delay between the phone and the Wi-Fi and everything. I was so surprised about it because I had tried the other one, Stadia, and I had so many issues with Stadia. Have you
That's
guys?
what I'm scared of.
Did you
Like,
guys play that Stadia?
No, I'm afraid to try it. Like on paper, it sounds good, but like I have really good internet, and apparently people around here have had issues with Stadia. So it's like I don't know if it's worth going for it.
Yeah, so I played Stadia. I played the. I always try to get into betas, and I guess at this point it doesn't really matter whether I talk about it or not. The NDA is gone, but it was really bad on beta, Stadia. Like it was super bad, and I wanted to talk about it. I was like, man, if I made one of those videos on YouTube, and people knew, it's just as bad as they think. And but then I tried on so whenever Stadia started, it wasn't like on phones and everything like that. They were doing it at first on the web browser on Chrome, and it still wasn't good. We're talking about I'm using my Ethernet connection onto it instead of using Wi-Fi, and it's still giving issues, like responsive issues. But then I went to hang out with one of my cousins, and he was showing me his game on Stadia, and it was working just fine. So I was like, I'm confused. I don't know if it's like it just varies from person to person.
It might depend on like location to like the nearest server that supports Stadia. Because I know sometimes like even if your internet's really good, but you're playing like an online competitive game, just depending on how far away you are from the server that hosts like the matches, sometimes you can just get input delay because of that. So it might have to deal with like how far away from like Stadia headquarters or like one of the servers that support it or something like that.
Yeah, that may be it. I don't know. It was crazy how different the experience was. But no, cloud. I'm all up for it, especially because it comes with the service, the Xbox. Man, I'm so bad at remembering all these names for everything. What is this Xbox thing they call it?
It's xCloud, but they've basically changed it to just be like was it Xbox Remote Play? xCloud was the beta project name for it.
Uh-huh. No, I'm sorry. I was thinking of Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Yeah, xCloud now comes with Game Pass too. So pretty much everything that you have on Game Pass is just free. And honestly, that's been such a good way for me to be able to play a lot of games that I wouldn't be wanting to play. Like the Yakuza games, and in fact, they just added Code Vein to it. Yeah.
That's a game that I've wanted to try for a while now.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. That was one of the games that I had on my list. Kind of like, well, if I can ever find a copy of the game, I'll play it. And because that game went. I'm not gonna go actively looking for one, but if I ever find one for cheap or something, I'll jump into it. But yeah, I mean, like it's just fun playing games like that, especially when now that you can do it. Although not all games are available on xCloud, a lot of them are.
I think I'm going to offer this up to you guys. Would you guys want me to do a comparison between playing Persona 5 Strikers on my Vita Remote Play versus the Switch when I get them both?
That'd be great. That sounds like a great video. You should definitely do it.
Yeah.
I'll put up the comparison and we can see how much lag there is between the Switch versus the Vita as far as movement and whatnot. I'll make sure I sync them up.
That'll be awesome. Yeah.
The Switch is running fine. To be honest, it's great. Except that little lag that I had, like walking through.
The curiosity would be with the load screens because I'm using a PS4 Pro, right? So my PS4 Pro for the remote play may make a huge difference on loading screens or various things loading in and out. Definitely. It might be more worth it if you have a Vita to get the PS4 version.
I would like to see it for the loading times, though. Definitely, because they're going to be. Yeah. I think that they're probably going to be way better.
Yeah, I'll be down to watch that kind of video. I'll be interested to see what the results are going to be. What's everybody going to think about it?
In the comment section here, it looks like somebody's name is Christian. I'm not sure 100% how to pronounce that. But I do recall the PSP remote play, and you actually can remote play some PS3 games on your PSP, but it's mostly like PS1 classics. Yeah. And then I think Shadow of the Colossus was one of the ones they allowed with the Eco and the Shadow of the Colossus collection, and maybe a couple other ones. But yeah, it was very limited, and if you were like anywhere maybe 5 feet away from your router, you might be able to do it, but anywhere past that, it was impossible.
Yeah, it was really bad. I remember it. I 100% remember all that. It was bad. I had a PS Vita. I even tried to get like they sold this additional add-on so you could add to your PS Vita, and then they did one for didn't want to improve the connection on the Wi-Fi for it, something like that. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I don't recall that at all, to be honest with you.
No, I didn't have one.
They had all kinds of crazy stuff. They had a camera add-on. They had a GPS add-on. You're
talking about PSP, not the Vita, then, right?
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And when you said Vita, I was like, man, I don't remember them ever upgrading the network card with an external adapter.
No, I'm talking about the PSP.
Yes, there was a ton of very odd accessories to the PSP, including front-facing camera, rear-facing camera. They had like a Guitar Hero add-on thing.
What was that thing for the? Oh my god! I know that it came with a weird accessory. Wasn't it like a camera for like a Pokemon rip-off thing or something?
I think that's right.
Very unclear, but I don't remember the name of this series. But it was a game that came out like very soon in the PSP's lifespan, and I think it came out with a camera with like a 130p camera or something. It was very interesting accessory.
It was like an augmented reality game.
I'll try to find it.
Who was using the GPS add-on though? That's what I have to know. Like, who was gaming on the go so hard to use the GPS?
I think it was for an actual application game thing that you could use for an actual GPS.
You have to remember that at the time the PSP had that GPS add-on. you didn't have a lot of mobile devices that could do GPS. You know,
Yeah,
so if you bought the add-on for that reason, you were kind of skipping out on a Garmin and relying on that instead.
That is true. I think the N64 had a printer that you could put on top of it, like a printer attachment. And you would print these things off for, I think, Pokemon Snap. You could actually print the pictures off. That's such a weird thing that they did with that, but
That was probably locked out to the Japanese market only. I don't remember that coming out to the Americas.
oh no, I think it was just Japan.
What,
yeah.
the GPS?
No, the
No.
Pokemon Snap
Yeah.
printer for the N64.
Oh, I remember that. I saw one in
Oh.
America. Yeah, I saw one person had it. I don't know if they imported it or not, but I remember. You know, there's always the one popular kid in school that had like all the games. There was this kid that had 2 Game Boys with 2 copies of Pokemon. They had blue and red, and I'm like, why do you need both? And it's like, well, I asked for my parents for both. And I'm like, man, I had to share mine. I had to share my Game Boy with my brother.
Little did you know that she would buy 4 versions of Strikers a few years after that.
Oh man, times changes. No, I don't know. It was so hard to get my parents into buy me anything gaming related. The other day I was talking. No, some packet came in and my mom was like, you know, I regret buying you that Nintendo when you were young, and I was like, oh wow. Yeah, she bought us a PlayStation 2. That was my first console. The PlayStation 2, and it's not because consoles weren't a thing. It's just my mom refused to buy me one. Like my uncle gave me an NES with like 2-3 games, but then my mom took it away. So I played it for like a couple days before they was sold, and so that sucked. And then I had the PS2 for a long time, but I shared that with my brother. I was always the one sharing it with my brother. There it is, David. You found it. Oh, that thing was so
that's
creepy.
the thing. There's 2 games. I think, Chris, you were talking about the second picture that I sent, but I was talking about the first thing. Invisimals. Wow.
Visibles.
Yeah, I
was a
remember that
terrible
game
game.
now that you showed it to me. I do recall that game existing.
You don't get more like bland than this. Like that looks so average.
Yeah.
That, oh
That's
my God.
terrible. Oh man, I
Well, how
remember that
expensive
second
it
one
is.
though. That's this creepy looking thing with the monkey boy. That was one of the weirdest things.
the creepy one.
Yeah,
That thing's in other games too. I think.
Yeah. It wasn't it in a PS3 game too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I know they also tried the camera thing with this card game, like a Yu-Gi-Oh ripoff game. On the it was called the Eye of Judgment. I believe that I still have the game in.
Eye of Judgment.
What a
Yeah.
name.
Hold on,
Isn't there actual
let me
Yu-Gi-Oh
actually
games on the
pull it.
PSP? Like, what would be the point?
Yeah, right.
Oh
No,
yeah.
this was
Oh,
on the
that's a PS3 game. Eye
Yeah,
of
PS3,
Judgment.
Eye of Judgment, and it came with a camera, and they stand for your camera, but you will kind of face it down.
Oh boy.
And-
oh boy. That
And it was really rough, man. Like I tell you, this
it
was one of
looks
the rougher.
really rough.
Yeah, you should post a picture of it if you have it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what
the
is that?
So
Look at that. Look
so
at those-
basically, they did a Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't know if you guys ever seen the Yu-Gi-Oh the anime before, but when they play the cards, the 3D version of the character, the
I
monster
remember
shows up.
commercials for this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
These look like the kind of people I'd imagine that would play this. Not that it's bad, but I'm just saying.
Oh,
Look at
I was
the
gonna say
second one.
they look like the kind of people that I see every Friday at my local Magic the Gathering shop.
They're not even having fun. Look at them. They're depressed.
They're like, what the hell am I doing here?
Oh man, yeah, that's hilarious. I love that kind of stuff. This is funny. It's taking me in a memory lane. Anyway, me and my brother bought it so we could play it. But it was bad, and it had a story mode too. You could play against a computer and everything. And then
I'm sorry, man. That looks like the The worst thing ever. Like, every single time that I find new pictures is like that looks like a IRL Bakugan
Oh
thing.
my
It's like
god.
The funniest thing about it, I think, out of all this funny stuff, I think is the fact that they made it so seriously. Like, it was so
Yeah.
bad. It was as a product, even as a card game, it's still bad.
It totally looks like it's marketed towards 15-year-old kids, but like
It was-
it's just 40-year-old men playing.
Okay,
it. That's
I'm
the
gonna-
weirdest part about it.
I'm gonna post pictures of it so I can see it on the
oh
screen.
my god, I found a gold gem. I'll post in the chat like for context. This is what we're talking about. This
Wow.
video.
I gotta see
they
you.
look like the biggest shows.
Oh man, I feel bad. I feel bad for laughing, but it's so funny.
My favorite Yu-Gi-Oh game ever was it wasn't Falsepawn Kingdom was on the Game Boy, a GameCube. But the one I liked the most was actually just basically straight up playing the game. It was Forbidden Memories on the PS1.
Oh,
really
dude,
wish they remade
I love
one.
that. And the other funny thing about it is it doesn't even play like Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, there's a lot of aspects that are so unique to the game. But it's really good. I loved it. I spent so many times learning the different card combinations that you could do and everything.
That one was such a great game, and it was actually the reason I got a Game Shark in the first place. 'Cause I wanted to get some cards that were like really difficult to unlock, and then I realized that the Game Shark wasn't working, so I had to beat the game like the old-fashioned way. After that, I was like, "Ah,
Oh, really? That sucks. Sorry to hear that. That's terrible.
I just realized it's called Eye of Judgment because it uses the PlayStation Eye.
Yeah,
I
yeah, exactly. They thought they were slick about it. I thought it was ridiculous. Demicro, no, we're talking about a game called Eye of Judgment. It's like, and before that, we were talking about the camera, PlayStation Portable camera, which was crazy to me that the PS Vita comes with a camera, a frontal and back camera too.
Ahead of the time, maybe. I don't know. I mean, everybody plays like Pokemon Go. It uses similar
They had
technology.
some aspirations for some augmented reality games that basically never came to fruition.
I mean, Pokemon Go is huge, and it kind of uses that. I mean, you could turn that setting off, but like those concepts can work, I guess. So I don't know. Maybe just not the right game developed.
Like for
it.
example, if you played Tearaway, they used the cameras on that.
Really? There's one game that I remember playing that had it too, and he used it. He used it in like a specific scenarios. Like, it wasn't like a gameplay thing all the time. It was just in like some aspects that it just happened. Pretty interesting. Oh my god, David! I'm watching that video you're showing me now.
Dude.
It's so cringe. Oh my god.
Gold that aged so well. Mm.
Oh shit! I kind of want to just go comment. Actually, I am gonna go comment. I'm gonna go comment.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Muto game would be fantastic.
Can you imagine that?
Demicro always has the craziest idea, but
Yeah.
for whatever reason, they always make sense.
True.
Except when he's always bringing up this Jack Bros remake. You won't get it, Demicro. You won't get it. I'm sorry.
Oh, let him dream, okay? There's nothing wrong with that game. There's nothing wrong with dreaming about that game. Didn't they make that game on like something similar to Jack Bros on the computer, on like for PC?
Oh yeah, that looked great. Never played it though. That was oh my god, what was the name already? There was City in the name. Let me.
I remember, but I still have it on my laptop actually. I'll see if I can find it. Maybe I have the EXE.
Shin Megami Tensei Synchro City Prologue. That's the name.
Yeah,
Synchro
I
City.
spent so many hours. It wasn't long at all, actually. I spent so many hours just playing it because I'm really bad at it. Like, I kept dying, but it was so fun. It was so different too. That's the kind of good
Yeah,
stuff.
Synchro City Prologue. Yeah, Christian knew.
You knew exactly. Oh man, what is this?
Yeah, that new one. He just
Oh, bro.
show just got me bad.
Oh,
The
we're,
video for the trailer has 4 comments. I commented on it also. I had to.
oh, there's 4 comments on that video. I haven't even seen.
Yeah, one of them actually kind of like makes sense. Apparently, you can put it on. It says online clearly doesn't work because players can just grab whatever card they want out of their deck in the game, and you can never know if they're cheating or not. That's so true. You never know. Like online play just could not work for that.
Oh my god, those pictures are gold.
Oh man, that is so crazy. This is
And then they're like, "Hey, we gotta look happy for the picture. Please try to make, please pretend like you're having fun."
Yeah, exactly. That is one of those like, what the hell are we even watching? They're just two random people. Oh, this is the era. Oh man, this is the era when they used to use like full grown adults as teens. You know, like in Spider-Man, the Spider-Man toy movies, where he's kind of like
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, he's like way older, and everybody's old as shit. They're all playing high schoolers. Like
a 27-year-old guy plays a 19-year-old.
Exactly, you're like 18 or whatever. And actually, he's supposed to be 14, so that blows my mind. Anyway, so maybe it's not in that time. That's just funny.
You guys convinced me. I'm buying this game.
Oh no, we're not talking about Duel Network. Actually,
let's stream it, boys.
We're talking about this golden gem that we found. Oh, that I mentioned earlier. Actually, Eye of Judgment. This game is a card game that they made for the PlayStation with the camera, where it kind of faces down.
Now, guys.
And the best thing about it is that it's just ridiculous. It just looks bad. Everything about it screams that it's just bad made.
You can get a bulk set of card packs for $100. A whole box of card packs unopened. 100 packs for $100.
100 packs for $100?
100 packs of Eye of Judgment cards for $100.
Are they unopened?
Sounds like a deal.
Unopened.
Unopened? Oh man, I may jump on that. You know, that's it's actually on my past. Before I started doing this channel, one of the ideas that I have for a YouTube channel was a board game channel. I actually used to play a lot of Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and there's a bunch of other games I can mention that I played as well. Oh, you guys know the Witcher game, Went?
Oh yeah, I played that one.
Yeah, yeah, I played that a lot too. I played that so much. I put so many hours into it. It's really addictive. I love the mechanics of the game and everything. Anyway, so
who's Goro Ketchy just sent me one of the pictures private.
That's Demicro.
Okay, that's Demicro. Okay. He just sent me the picture Demicro, we had this picture in our chat. That's why we're laughing.
That's literally what we're laughing
at.
at.
Of those
you
pictures
got it.
Oh man.
Oh man, that's crazy. That is so funny. Yeah, that's literally what we're laughing at, Demicro. Oh man. Yeah, although
I'm gonna breathe new life into this game now.
Yeah, literally everybody's talking in the chat.
Covering it at the same time, and we'll just like build this game back up, make it a super rare title for people to buy.
I only need the cards. I have the game in my shelf, and I have the map. The game comes with the map actually, and I can probably just buy a couple cards, build up a deck, put it up on my PS3, and stream it.
Then we have to live stream to Twitch so that everybody can catch us cheating.
Fly us all out. We'll get together and play it. You know, easy.
Oh man,
that would make for an interesting stream.
Oh, definitely.
Can you imagine?
We need to all be drunk though before it starts.
Oh,
we need to add some type of alcohol rules in it.
Hey, no worries.
We'll make
Spencer
actually
be interesting then.
We'll make Spencer the referee.
But we'll have cameras on our hands to make sure we're not cheating.
Definitely.
No magicians allowed, guys. No magicians.
Have like GoPro on your forehead or whatever. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, so
I feel like the setup is more expensive than the game.
Yeah, is it? Oh, yeah. Well, if you guys have a PS3, then I have a PS3. I have the camera too. I have everything. I only need the cards.
You guys thought I found a brand new set for $90 sealed.
Oh, really?
Camera, cards, game, stand, everything.
We make it super popular, that becomes expensive. Then you can sell it for thousands of dollars later. It's an investment.
Oh man, let me see. Let me shop it over here. Well, the game itself is $3.99. Or you can buy a used one on eBay for $49.99.
I found one for 35. Buy it now.
Yeah,
with
buy it now.
everything.
There's an I see that one there. There's a $10 one. What is this right here? Yes, somebody's selling it for $10. Let me see. Hold on.
Clearly, this is not the PS3 pushing game that they expected it to be.
They were like, no, we really need this game to sell all these PS3s.
It's probably too gimmicky. Like, who wants to set up the eye every time to do that? I don't think anybody wants to do that.
Yeah, the worst part is that the card game doesn't really work without the game. Like, a good way will be, like, in Japan this exists. There, you go to the arcade, these cards get scanned, and you're playing and the screen shows up. Like, this is a lot of Sega games has that feature. And I spent a lot of time on the arcades just kind of playing the games and everything. But yeah, there's this tank game where you buy a booster pack, and you can use the different tanks, and you literally drag the tank when you're moving the card, like you're moving your card, and the tank is moving on the screen and everything. It's actually pretty cool. Like they definitely stuck with the technology. Somebody like actually worked on it pretty hard.
I think there's a Dragon Ball game just like that. Like, you'd get different Dragon Ball
Yeah.
characters, and you can move them like that.
Yeah, there's a Dragon Ball game, and there is a Yu-Gi-Oh game that has that feature as well. Like
I always wanted Yu-Gi-Oh! Dungeon Dice Monsters, like a legit copy of that.
Oh,
me
yeah.
too. That was one of those
That's,
that I
that's on
wanted to.
GBA, right?
Dungeon,
Dice
no,
Monsters or
that's
PS2?
there's a it might be on like GBA, but there was like a manga years ago that had the Dungeon Dice Monsters before they actually like released it as a legit thing. And I was like, man, I wish they would make a physical set of this I could own in real life.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I remember thinking that as well, watching the anime when I was younger. I was like, those things IRL would be dope.
Yeah,
I guess I'm gonna have to head out on my part. Kind of. It's time. It's time. So yeah, guys, Strikers. Can't wait to play more of it. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we're gonna have to hop on a podcast later to discuss spoilers because I think that's gonna be really interesting.
That'll be good. We'll probably have to give everybody a month before.
Yep, and I'll also be looking forward to that Eye of Judgment alcohol version stream or something.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm ready.
Oh man, that's funny.
Thanks for having me on, Chrillcast. That was fun, guys. So
Sure, dude.
take care, and see you next time, boys.
See ya.
Have a good one.
Well, on this topic of Eye of Judgment, I found it on Tabletop Simulator in Steam.
Okay,
Really?
No meme. That kind of would be a funny stream.
Like we can all. I'm sure. Do you guys have Tabletop Simulator?
No, but I could get it.
Okay,
That's something
it's
I've
cheap.
always thought about getting.
You should definitely. There's a lot of good games on it. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna save it on my page here. All right, it's saved. Yeah. So it's 2-player apparently, but yeah, it does everything that the game is supposed to do. Apparently, I'm looking at it right now.
Hey, check out the chat. I found an actual legit physical copy of Dungeon Dice Monsters.
Oh, yo, that looks dope.
Okay, hold on. Let me see that now.
100.
Wow. Oh, dude, you know what? I played this. This isn't. I owned this before. Yeah, it's really cool. I never got my brother to play it with me. He didn't want to. I was so disappointed.
Yeah, I was like really into that kind of stuff at the time. Like HeroScape, I ended up buying really into that pretty hard for a while.
Yeah, but no, it's cool. This is really cool, dude. I remember this. I remember playing this before. Yeah, that's awesome.
Have you guys ever played Warhammer? That's kind of what that reminds me of a little.
Yeah,
bit.
Warhammer?
Like, we play Warhammer a lot, and yeah, it kind of reminds me of Warhammer.
Interesting. Yeah, I played Warhammer a few times. It's expensive. So is D&D.
Yeah, I
I
believe-
don't know.
yeah.
Warhammer is more expensive than D&D, I think. There's too many figures.
Well, it's like you get the figures, then you gotta get the paint, and you get like the environment stuff. So like, I have a friend group. We all just sort of pitch in for different bits, like I
Yeah.
don't know, each time.
It's understandable. It is an expensive hobby. Board games and just overall, like D&D and everything, that shit is really expensive. It can get expensive too. I guess it's like every hobby, right? Whether it's like gaming or anything. I mean, those games aren't cheap either.
Bringing this back around to Strikers, what would you guys want if they did a Persona 5 board game?
Well, I can tell you guys that now. I have a friend that made it.
What do you mean made it?
He made you guys, as I mentioned before, I don't know. I told you guys that I play board games, right? I also made board games. One of the persons that I met from one of the conventions that I did made a Persona 5 unofficial board game. He has it in his shop here. If you guys are interested in it.
I'm curious.
It's gone now. I can show you. I'll show you guys my video. Shameless plug, but I made a video talking about the board game. He was actually selling it, or not selling. Well, he was selling the idea of it for people to print it and everything. It's super good. Like I played so much of it while I saw him, and you can go to his website if you're more interested in looking at it.
That looks really nice.
This isn't the same guy that did the Fire Emblem custom game,
Yeah,
is he?
it is. Yeah, the same thing.
Oh, you're actually friends with him?
Yeah. He's from my state. We know each other from a minute.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really. He did a good job making it look professional. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, it's super good. And a lot of the people that I met at the conventions and everything for board games, they're really cool people. I actually enjoy myself quite a bit. Oh, you looked at it, Christian. You know about it too. Yeah, I made a video because I wanted to give him a shout out. I was like, that was way before when I had like, I maybe had like 500 subscribers when I made that video. Probably less than that. Yeah. Or anyway, so yes, I will buy a Persona 5 board game. Now that you asked that question, Chris, yes, the answer is yes.
I guess the next question is, if you were going to make one other than the one you've already talked about, what would it look like?
I don't know. I have to think about that because I liked what he did with card games and everything like that. I like the idea of that. I personally would like to see something more. Let's see, more D&D-ish, more Warhammer type. You know, with dice and small figures. Because his idea is more like more card game based, which is actually cheaper. When you're making board games, like you have to think of the cheapest yet best possible way to execute your idea. So like, because you gotta think about things like when you buy figures, you have to get like you either get it 3D printed or you have to get a manufacturer and how much that costs and everything like that. But personally, if I had any budget and I was to make a board game, I would like figures. I would like small figures and that kind of stuff. I will be into that.
Yeah, having figures is a little bit better because you can move them around and stuff. It tells the narrative a little bit better. I think I'd do the same thing, like more Warhammer, like so you can actually like paint the figures and I don't know. I feel like you get a little more involved, I guess, with figures and stuff. You know, like the story.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I don't know. What about you, Chris? Since you asked that question.
If I was going to make a Persona 5 or even just a Persona board game in general, it would need to have some kind of like social simulator aspects, like you were saying, maybe some kind of role playing game. You'd almost need like somebody to play Igor instead of the dungeon master. That'd actually be a pretty good like had development room.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'd be down for that. That'd be awesome, actually. Oh, guys, I really want to do I have a friend that is a D&D dungeon master, so I'm gonna try. And so one of the viewers messaged me and told me that somebody did a really good Persona campaign. I'm like, maybe one day I'll do a D&D kind of RP of Persona 5. Maybe someday I'll be down for it. But I don't know. I would like to have figures. I would like to have things to do and like a board, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know.
I totally understand.
I'm not personally too. I don't like too much when it's just the there's a lot of role playing and that kind of stuff. I'm not really into that. Like I like role playing, but with the D&D aspect of the board game, or when I'm playing a game, when I'm engaged with it, I can just role play with words. I don't have enough imagination for that. All right, so Demicro is asking how much is that tabletop simulator. Do you guys know?
I thought it goes on sale every once in a while, but I didn't think it was that expensive. I can double check my Steam real quick.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap from what I remember too. I think I was gonna play. I think Uno on there or something, but like there's an Uno game you can buy anyway that's super cheap. But
The biggest thing you got to keep in mind with Tabletop Simulator is the bulk of the games you're going to play in it are going to cost you money on top of Tabletop Simulator, right? Like there's some stuff that comes with it, but I think overall a lot of it comes in the DLC. So like Tabletop Simulator itself may not be expensive, but then you're buying like a $5 game here, a $10 game here, like games that go with it. I think if I remember correctly.
It depends. You can get a lot of them for free. There's a lot of them that people make on everything. So there's a lot of custom campaigns that people already made and everything. So that's where the heart of the game really lays. But yes, like you said, Zombicide, for example, made all these expansions available there. Have you guys played Zombicide?
no.
Oh, okay. Well,
Did you say Zombicide?
yeah, Zombicide. Yeah.
My buddy's got it, but we haven't broke it out yet.
Oh, it's super good, man. I really, it's repetitive. Well, the game, what it is they made so many expansions, and they all play similarly. But it's really cool. It's a really good tabletop. I deeply crush. Man, I could talk hours about tabletop. I did. Like I said, that was like my other YouTube idea. Whenever I build my YouTube channel, I was like, well, do I want to talk about books? Do I want to talk about? I have a lot of hobbies besides gaming. So like I love playing music too, and I was like, man, do I want to make like I felt like there were too many music channels already, and I'm like, I don't know, there's too many out there, and I was like, well, I'll make a YouTube channel about gaming. And I was like, I like games.
It's funny. My channel was a guitar cover channel to start. I actually changed like halfway through randomly. It's funny you bring that up, but yeah.
I really
We just got a message in the chat. Somebody said they just finished playing Strikers on PC and they had a lot of crashes on day one, but now they're played 2 hours and no problems. Do you guys have any issues with it crashing? Have you played on PC at all?
Yeah, I was. We were literally we started the whole podcast with that, but I personally did. So I'm kind of like I'm just holding off for now. What it is, I only play like 30 minutes of it on PC, and now I'm kind of like, okay, well, I'm gonna wait for them to patch it, or I'm gonna ask for a refund. So I'm just kind of waiting and see right now what they're gonna do.
And PC's kind of different too, because you gotta think like mostly all Switches are the same, all PS4s are the same, but PCs are different because you have different motherboards, some of the people, different hard drives, CPUs, GPUs, stuff like that. So for like some person's crash might be completely different compared to like why someone else's is crashing or something like that.
Yeah, it's just really hard to kind of gather. But from what I've seen, the people that I know, there are people that have a decent PC to play the game. I actually haven't seen somebody that's like, well, I had a potato and I wanted to play, because that's what happened with Persona 4 Golden. Persona 4 Golden, we had it's a PlayStation 2 game, so some people thought that they could run it in like their Chromecast or whatever. You know, that's on them. That's not on Atlas, really, right? Well, then there's actually legitimate concern when it comes to like the gameplay and everything. I had issues of Persona 4 Golden midway through the game. The game just crashed a ton of times in stream. Like I was literally streaming the game, and people were like, "Oh man, I wish that your your save file," because I had played for like 4 hours straight and I didn't save once. So I'm over here playing. Finished the entire dungeon. I was about to save. I was like within walking distance to the saving. Like I could see the save point, and it wouldn't. You kept on freezing and then crashing, freezing and then crashing. And I was like, I'm just trying to save so badly. Like you just
Damn.
yeah, and at the end I was able to save, and I was worried that it was gonna crash while saving, and then just corrupt my file. That would have been the worst.
Oh no, that'd been terrible. I've really not ran into anything while playing P4G, but it might have been because they've maybe patched it since now. Or
Oh no,
something
no,
like that,
this is like a month ago or 3 weeks ago. I just
Really?
finished. Yeah, I just finished Golden.
I've been streaming Golden, and I don't know. I haven't ran into anything bad yet.
And
Not
I
even
mean,
like textures or anything.
I mean, the textures are just ugly in the game. Let's be honest here. The game
Yeah,
wasn't
true.
made for.
It
Like
was
if
not
you're,
for 1080p.
yeah. Oh man, the game looks really rough in 4K. Like I cannot tell you how rough it looks. There are times that I'm like, oh my god, this is so ugly. There, one of the teachers is particularly horrible looking. Like she looks really bad. Like I was like, what's wrong with her? Her entire face just looks so terrible.
I'm still looking forward to the eventual ports to other consoles. Like, hopefully they'll get it to the PS5 or the PS4 at some point in time as like a download, and then maybe we get it on the Switch. That'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah,
that would
I'm
be
down for
fantastic.
everybody, just so they can at least play it. I'm personally not going to get it on Switch, but just to let people who have only a Switch play it, that'd be nice. I see a lot of people on my streams always say stuff like that, like they don't want to invest in getting a good enough PC, but they're console only players, so it's like they either have to go buy a Vita or get a PC. It's like you buy a whole Vita for one game, but it's like just porting it on Switch would be nice.
Now, what I will say about that is, just don't do what they did with Persona 4 Dancing on the PS4, where the only way you could get it was with that dancing collection of all 3 games.
That was the worst thing. Oh my god, they've been doing such bad moves lately. So they did that, and then they did the early release for Persona 5 Strikers. We were just talking about that earlier too. How it was like, oh well, you can pay $10 extra and play the game early, you know? Because I mean, let's face it, none of the other things are important. Digital audio, what would you need that when you can do YouTube at that point, right? Like if it's digital, you don't really need to own the songs. The songs are on YouTube for free, right? And then
Yeah, you really don't need it.
yeah, when it's
True.
digital, you cannot even download it. It's not like they give you a CD. When you have the CD, you have the CD, right? You can do whatever you want with a CD. You can rip the CD. You can put it in your car, whatever you want to do. And then I think there's a digital art book. Digital art book means that you can just go online and look up whatever picture you want to look at. You know,
That kills me. I think there's like a Catherine wallpaper or like for your console or something like that. I don't remember for what, and it costs money on the store, like the PS Store or something like that. I went online, found it on Google, and made it my background of my computer for free. And I'm just like, there's no point in like doing that. That's so bad. Like paying for avatars, I think that's kind of weird too.
oh
but
well, I don't know.
heck with it.
Avatars is crazy. I only get use avatars when they are given to me for free. Like I'm
Yeah, it's
not.
weird.
Yeah, I'm not randomly just gonna go and do anything like that. I'm just gonna go and if I get one for free, I'll use it. Like I had I had no avatar for the longest time. I think for like 3 years I didn't have an avatar. And then my brother was like, "Oh, it's so bad. I just want to put an avatar." I'm like, "Okay, well, choose one of the default ones because I'm not buying them." And eventually on the PS4 they added some of them for free. I think they had The
There's a
Last
lot
of
of
Us.
exclusive
They had a lot of them, yeah. Anyway, for now I have the Joker one because it was also given to me. You know, when you finish Persona 4 Golden, they were giving not Persona 4 Golden, Persona 5 Royal. They were giving this free stuff and everything, the free themes and the free avatars. Do you guys remember that?
Oh, I did avatars too.
Yeah,
I thought it
we
was just
did.
wallpapers you got.
Oh no, you get all the avatars for them too.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wait, do you still? So wait, do you have the beta or do you have the platinum? I'm so confused on that. People
Okay.
in my chat told me about it, but I don't get it.
It's not platinum. Well, even though I platinum the game, every time that you beat every single dungeon, they send you an email with a code.
Oh, like
For-
I've been getting it this whole time.
Yeah, they send you every single dungeon. They send you I think like one or two teams per dungeon, and then whenever you platinum the game, they give you another dungeon, another code as well.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't even know what email they're sending it to.
Well, the email that you use for the game, for the PSN.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'll
Actually,
check that out.
I think it's cool, but also like they could have just put them on the store and sold them. Like Japan did it. We're
Yeah.
missing 12 different Persona 5 themes that they sold.
Wait, like, why can't they just like, unless there's like Japanese text on the themes, there's no reason why it should just be here in America or everywhere
Yeah,
else.
and the craziest, even if you buy them, you still cannot apply them to your profile. Like I bought some, I bought them, I bought two of them whenever they came out in Japan, and I didn't do anything. They only stayed on the Japanese account, which is sad, because when you go into the Japanese store and buy a game, you can play the game on your English account. That's how I do it sometimes. Sometimes I buy the Asian or the European copy so I can play the game earlier.
That's so weird. Like I'm trying to figure out like what legal reasons they could have to not have it like everywhere else, but it doesn't make sense like at all.
Yeah, it really doesn't make sense. You're right. It really doesn't. I don't know, but it could be a legal thing. It could be things that they have to maybe pay taxes, or maybe they have to do something they don't want to deal with it,
Oh,
and
yeah,
they just
that's
don't do
true.
it. I don't know. There may be a million reasons why. I'm just making up one. I don't know if that's one of them or not.
No, probably
Yeah.
the best situation that's weird right now is the fact that Shin Megami Tensei was on iOS at one point in time, and then Atlas just didn't update the app for 64-bit, so it went away.
Oh man, is that what happened? I wonder why we didn't get it anymore.
Well, that's 100% what happened. So iOS or Apple essentially said, "Hey, all apps by this date have to be 64-bit, or they're being removed from the store." And Atlas was like, whatever."
Wow.
Wow,
Maybe
that's
it didn't
just
sell
terrible.
well. They didn't care to change it. I don't know.
Even if they didn't, they still have that responsibility. Like that's one of the reasons why I don't really like, why I don't really like the the idea of digital, because it scares me so much. Like like PT, the demo. Like
Yeah.
once you delete it, that's gone. That's gone out of the thing. You can never see it again or play it again or download it again. If you had it, good. If not, it's gone.
Yeah, I feel bad. That actually happened to me. I had PT downloaded, and then I just never got to playing it yet because I was super excited about it. 'Cause I liked I can't remember his name. The guy who made it, I liked him.
Hideo Kojima.
Hideo Kojima. Yeah, he makes. I mean, he's good most of the time. Anyway,
He's good most
It's
of the
kinda-
time. Oh, I think
it's
you
kinda like,
didn't like his last game.
yeah, it's kind of like I'm blanking on the Kingdom Hearts
Nomura?
guy now. Nomura. It's kind of like Nomura. It's like sometimes
Yeah,
it's like
same.
super good. Other times it's like maybe not the best. But no, I downloaded PT, and then the next day I think we're talking about getting rid of it. And I don't know what happened. I deleted it for some reason, and I never got to play it.
Oh man, that
That's so sad.
sucks. I
Yeah.
have it. I have it on my PSN too. I got it and I played it. I actually have footage on YouTube, on Google, on Facebook somewhere, because I streamed it. Back in the day, you couldn't really stream that. You had to save it and upload it or whatever. Anyway, so I uploaded it to Facebook instead of YouTube by accident. So it's there somewhere, really.
That's weird.
Yeah.
The only thing I have like that is I have my old school iPad that has Flappy Bird on it.
Flappy
That's the only
Bird.
like exclusive game that's like you can't download anymore. I actually have that on it, like an old iPad that my school made us use. It's weird.
Flappy Bird.
It's a terrible game too. Like PT is actually a good game at least.
That's true.
Like-
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's really scary. I remember whenever I first played it, I was like so freak out. Like I don't know if you ever saw it, but somebody broke it down. And basically the thing that pops up is actually behind you, programmed behind you the entire time, which made it scarier. It's just programmed so that it will show up at random times. Like it's 100% random. You can't control it. You can't calculate it. It'll just show up at random times. But it's a code. Technically speaking, is behind you the entire time. It's literally a ghost behind your back. You just can't see it.
That's even scarier. That's like way scarier to think about the game. Like you're playing the game that way the whole time. That's even scarier to think about.
Right? I saw the first time I saw it. I was like, "Oh my god, that makes it even scarier." I want to play it again. And I see so many people try to replicate the game. I don't know why they're so obsessed about it. I mean, like it was cool and everything, but I moved on. That was one of those things that I moved on. But I don't know if it was a Persona secret game. And they did that too. I'll probably try to get to play it somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that supposedly Sony bought the rights to like Silent Hill and stuff like that. So maybe, he's gonna be able to do that game. He's gonna actually be able to make the Silent Hill game. But I don't know. I'd really love for them to be able to do that though. I would definitely play that Silent Hill game. That'd be a fun game. Not only like to play, but like to stream and stuff because horror games do so well.
Oh, dude, for sure. I'll be excited to stream that. I was really, really excited for that game. So if they do it again, I'll be open to streaming it. Definitely. I don't know. I tried to stream. There was one game that I tried to stream, but it wasn't really horror. I mean, what was it? It recently released on the Xbox. It's the first Xbox exclusive on the Series X.
I don't know. And kind of what you're talking about, like Amnesia.
It's a horror game.
Was it Amnesia?
No, not Amnesia. It's something about it's a Medium. Yeah, the Medium. That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
And that game wasn't bad whatsoever, right? But it had terrible performance. It was super bad. I played it on the PC, and it was just not working out at all. That game just had really bad performance of it all. It was badly optimized, apparently.
Speaking of Xbox exclusives, though, how hyped would you guys be if Shin Megami Tensei 9 finally came back?
I'd be down for it if they remade it. I'm not interested. I'm not into like older games, but if they remade the game, I'll be excited for it because this is an online game. Right?
Tensei 9 was on the original Xbox. It was a Japanese exclusive original Xbox game, and to be fair, it was supposed to originally be an MMO, I guess, at one point in time, and they reduced it down to just a single player game. So I would be interested to see how they would remake it, and if not, how they would port it and make it work right.
Yeah, I want to see it like that. Like if they remade it into like an MMO, like it was supposed to be and everything. Because they ran on MMO for a long time. I played it. What was it called?
Wasn't it just called Shin Megami Tensei Online?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and it was cool. It was a cool thing. I remember making my character. Well, not you don't really. I kind of made a character, I guess, and I just running around with other people and their demons and everything. It was cool. It was a cool idea. I never played a lot of it, but I played enough to kind of enjoy it. Nine's gameplay was very sluggish, so if they just remake Imagine and push it. Oh, SMT Imagine. That's what it was called. Not online. Imagine.
You're right. I totally remember that name now.
Yeah.
That kind of like brings up like P3 being remastered. I've seen a ton of people talk about it, and like everybody always, there's so many different versions of it, and like whether or not they'd have direct commands with party members and whatnot. I'm curious if they're gonna remaster that, if they're just gonna like port one of the versions, or actually go in and like rework stuff. That's kind of what I've been curious about, because it seems like people want P3 next. Like, you're going P5, P4, P3. So I wonder how they're going to even do P3 if they end up doing that.
What people want and what people are going to get are two different things. Most likely, they're going to port P3 Fest to Steam and then let modders add the direct party control and then just call it a day. But if they wanted to really do it right, they'd take aspects of P3P and P3 Fest and marry up all the best parts of them, and then make one game out of that.
That's kind of what I was
honestly
thinking.
I don't know if they're gonna do that. I honestly, after seeing every single low effort port, I know it sounds mean, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Every single port that they've done so far has been really low effort.
You're kind of right. I hate that it's
They
true,
farm it out to
but
other
you're right.
like
They've been farming it out to other companies. They haven't done any of the ports themselves yet.
no, Nocturne was done in house.
Nocturne was, but I don't think they did the PC port. I think they just did the PlayStation 4 and Switch versions.
Oh, there's no PC port for
Not
Nocturne.
yet.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Anyway, so it had issues. They had to be patched. So
They did it internally with. I think they worked with some of the other companies at Sega though to make that happen. Though I'm not 100%, but I thought that was the case.
yeah, and then obviously Strikers on PC, which by the way, Demiker came with another comment. Yakuza 7 is running at 4K 60 FPS on my computer, but P5S runs at 5 FPS.
yeah, it has nothing to do with the game's demands, though, for P5S versus Yakuza 7. It just has to do, like, literally with just porting. Like, that just goes to show how bad, like, even though your game might not be intensive, just having a bad port is enough to ruin it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
all about
literally.
optimization and everything. It's just more than just literally putting it, changing the code or something. It needs to be optimized for the game. There's been some really bad ports, but anyway, I still haven't lost hope. I'm hoping that Atlas releases a good port and that it's gonna be. I don't know. I don't want a port for Persona 3. I want like a you guys were saying, kind of like FES, but with additions of or rather Persona 3 portable with kind of like more of the stuff that makes FES good. A combination of both. I don't know, something good.
Yeah. Do what the fans want. And that's really what they need to do. Like, yeah, at the end of the day, when it comes to ports, they really should just try and do what's good for the community, I think.
I like more tie-ins. Like if they're gonna when they do Persona 6, I want to see some more actual tie-ins to the older games, just to kind of reward everybody that's been playing these games for so long.
I would love that too. Honestly, that's my number one thing. Like, even if it's not Persona 6, but something after Persona 6 that brings back all the characters and everything, I want that so bad. I just want to see the old characters. Like, it's like the Persona 3 cast, for example, it's my age. We're literally from the same year and everything. So, like, seeing them, like, if they come back again as, like, characters my age, like, it will be, like, much meaningful for me, I think. But I'll be cool if they ever do that. I'll be so open for that. Alrighty. Well, do you guys have any final comments on Persona 5 Strikers or anything in general? Chris, I know you came a little bit later, so did you have anything that you wanted to chat about Strikers?
I'm excited to play it. I'm gonna try and do that comparison video, at the very least a short one, to show the difference between the Switch and playing it on the Vita remote play, because I think that'll be an interesting combo. But I just wanted to say thank you for inviting me on this podcast, and it's been a really great time talking to you guys.
Yeah, of course. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming in. It was fun to having you here. Rising, thank you so much for coming so late. I know I just told you last minute. I was like, you want to be in a podcast? And I was like, I had King who was going to be here in the podcast, but he felt sick or something. I was like, well, I'm going to ask Rising. I'm going to ask somebody, see if I can
Hey,
get...
man, that's no problem.
So I appreciate you so much
down.
coming by. It was super fun.
Yeah, man. Of course. Anytime, man. I just hope, like, when I get it Tuesday, Strikers Tuesday, it's not, like, running bad on the PS4. Like, we were talking bad about it on this PC. And then during mid-podcast, we had an issue with somebody on the Switch. So I'm like, fingers crossed the PS4 is okay. So I guess we'll have to see.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat, for coming in today. It was fun to have you guys here. Hope everybody enjoys Persona 5 Strikers. It's really fun. I've been playing a lot of it, so good luck to everybody. Have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next podcast. Probably gonna be the spoiler cast for P5S.